Good morning. Welcome to the final day here at the iQFOiL European Championships for 2024 here in beautiful Cagliari in Sardinia. My name is Sandy and I'm joined here as ever in the booth by Mr. Rafferty Reid.
How's it going, Sandy?
Last day!
Last day, it is indeed. I'm so excited. We're all extremely excited because here we will be determining our 2024 European champions. The whole week has led up to this moment, as we will be going for those medal races. So it's starting with that quarterfinal, semi-final, and then that ever pressure but exciting grand final where we will be determining that podium. So before we get into today, let's have a little look at yesterday and what went down. The penultimate day of the European Championships is here. Excitement but also pressure is high, as here we will be determining the top 10 going through to those medal races tomorrow.
We expect to race. We want to race, and why not course racing? We'll see.
We finally scored and got some nice breeze coming down here in Cagliari, and we went for some course racing. Both men and women completed the maximum 5 course races today, meaning that there was a lot of consequences along the line, but also a lot of mixing around to those overall standings. In the women, it was Maya Gisler having a very consistent day. That put herself into the lead for the overall rankings, banking herself into that grand final and overall podium tomorrow.
We had 5 course races and the wind was quite strong. It was offshore, so I was hoping for it, but my goal was more to just stay in the top 10 and kind of play more in the medal race. But no, I tried my best and it was good enough to be in the first position.
In the men, it is Pavel Tarnowski. He seems to have finished day number 5 as he did day number 1. He finished the day with a win, and now he is leading the overall for the men.
Just before the gate of the first loop, I made a nice jibe inside, came to lead the race, and kept it until the end, so I'm super happy.
The remaining spots for that overall top 10 in the quarterfinal, in the semi-final, have now been determined, so we are ready for those medal races tomorrow. Just making it in the women, it was Anastasia Valkovic moving from 11th to 8th, and now she is in that quarterfinal. In the men, it is Bernat Thomas who secured his place inside that top 10 in that last race today. So he, along with the rest of the top 10, have a shot at getting that European title. Make sure you tune in tomorrow, as it is going to be extremely exciting to see who will become the 2024 European champions. I will see you there.
A really great day yesterday, the first course racing of the event. So day 1 and day 2 we had some great slalom conditions. Day 3 and 4 sadly no racing at all due to some stormy conditions, and then no wind on day 4. But great racing yesterday. However, there's been some protests going on the men's side. So yeah, as you can see, this is the rankings, and actually things have changed ever so slightly. So as you can see, Bernat was initially in that top 10 position, and now Max Kastelein, Netherlands 36, finds himself up into that top 10. So Bernat now sitting in 14th position. What's that going to feel like, Rafferty?
Absolutely heartbreaking for Bernat, unfortunately, but on the other side, an absolute win for Max, because now he has a shot along with all the rest inside that top 10 to get that European Championship title. But yeah, we had that protest. We also had on the screen down the bottom Duncan Monaghan moving up to 12 due to another protest. But that's it. You know, everyone's got to play fair and play by the rules, and that's what it can all come down to as we go to the women's current standings.
Absolutely, yeah. The women's side staying the absolute same. No protests going on over there. So yeah, Maya Giesler leading. Isla Watson was leading up until yesterday, drops down into 6th place. Sarah Venika's put in a great performance, also sitting in 7th. So yeah, no changes there on the women's as we move into going into those medal races. But we actually got a chance earlier on today to speak to Eva Jodlowska, who is kind of out there sort of running the races, making all the plans, and we got a chance to chat to her about the medal races coming up.
Eva Jodlowska, so-called PR of the event. Yes, today we have a final medal series. We call this medal series. For each fleet we have 3 races, men and women. We have quarter-final, we're qualified from 10 to 4th place. And then to the best, they are qualified for semi-final, where already we have 2nd and 3rd in opening series. And then two best qualified to final, where already the best of the whole week is there, and 2 from semi-final. So at the end, in the grand final, we have 3 athletes who are fighting for the medals. Every time from each heat, 2 are qualified to the next stage. So from quarter-final, 2 best are going to semi-final, and from the semi-final, 2 best are going to the final, where they meet the winner of the opening series, who already just directly is in the final. I mean, the whole week says that maybe you can't trust the forecast, but basically what the local knowledge, that's why we are so early. At 10:30 there is the first warning, as they claim that, and this is one of the model, that at 10:30 we already will have the wind around 8 to 9 knots. And then during the day it may happen that at 12:30 the wind disappeared, but who knows. Yeah, basically in this place, like when the wind arrives, it is more or less in whole bay. So we try to be with the final races as close as possible to the venue, to the land, to give the possibility for the people to watch. But of course, if there is better wind somewhere else, we will have to move the course. So we are waiting just for the wind of 6 to 7 knots, and then we can start. With 6 to 7 knots, we just go for the slalom course, which we start on the ridge, and then the finish is on the bottom of the course. And if we will have 9 knots, then we will go for leeward-windward course, which is downwind and upwind and downwind, and then the finish. So this race is a little bit longer, as the slalom is for 4 minutes, and leeward-windward course is for the 6 minutes, the target time. In the downwind slalom, we have the start on the ridge. Then there is Mark 1, where everybody can choose in which direction they will go downwind. So, and then there is the leeward mark and 2 slalom legs. So still they have one ridge, another ridge, and then they finish. On the downwind, upwind course, there is another, there is more tactics, because on upwind you can go as well to the right or to the left of the course, so it's more tactical.
Podium positions, and one thing that they do the night before these medal races is do what's called a quarantine. So putting all the equipment in a place to make sure there's no funny business going on. So let's have a little look at what the quarantine entails.
So we just finished this day with 5 good races, upwind downwind course racing, with kind of good wind, really tricky but still very good to sail and to send it. No, it's all the measurement. It's kind of the boring part of the job, but we need to all be measured to make sure we have all the good stuff, and the race of tomorrow will be fair in this way. I've done it previously on the week. It's all right. I mean, the stuff everyone knows it, so it's all right.
Normally they do spot checks throughout the week, so they just pick up random people, make sure everyone's behaving themselves, and then also at the end of the week, like now for the medal race, all our equipment's in quarantine now, so no one can remove any pieces, try swap anything out, just to keep it all fair for tomorrow. Right now we're all getting measured, so we've got 3 measurers here checking everyone's filled out their QR form correctly, and they're also making sure all the wings are legal and no one's tampered with them or tried to cheat, and by the looks of it, everything's going quite smoothly. It shouldn't take too long, but we're just trying to keep the fairness in the sport, so it's a great thing really.
Really, really interesting there, you know, the whole quarantine process that the equipment goes through, and it's so rigorous because, as we know, it is a kind of one design class, you know, so it's so important that all of the equipment is absolutely down to the regulations. As you said, Rafferty, no one's doing any funny business. But just quickly, before we get to the racing, we got a chance to catch up with Maja Giesler, you know, currently sitting in that first place. She's had a great week of racing. Let's catch up with her before we go to the first medal race.
Okay, we had 5 course races. The wind was quite strong. It was offshore, so a bit shifty. And I had like just some stable racing. Nothing too special, just like average.
Did you expect to have such good races?
I was hoping for it, but my goal was more to just stay in the top 10 and kind of play more in the medal race. But no, I tried my best, and it was good enough to be in the first position. I think you just need to give it your all in one race, but I tried to do that anyways. But kind of no, just be in a good place mentally and just do what you always do. Yep.
She's in the zone, she is concentrated as she has already guaranteed herself on that podium. But where on that podium, we will find out very soon. Along with Paweł Tarnowski, he came into the lead, so let's get a quick word with him.
It was a great day actually. We finally had some wind, pretty strong wind, gusty, offshore, with a small little chop, but very dynamic, you know, fast tacks, reaching for the finish. Everything was just great. It was super tactical, I would say. I had a good start, a good plan for the race. I had a very good plan for the first race of the live stream as well, but I just went too far to the left, so I knew this time I'd have to just start on starboard to have the right of way, be quite high, so as to be able to control the fleet more or less, and then just tuck away and go all the way to the right. So I just executed the plan as I wanted to. I spent my lead in the first loop because I was quite afraid not to reach the top mark on like with the gusts. So I rounded, I think, 3rd or maybe 4th. But I was just super close to the guys and attacked on the gate, which was nice, you know, another good tactical decision, and then just controlled it all the way from there. So I'm super happy. It was very hard and great racing with all the guys because you know, the top guys are just super fast, so it's great racing with them.
Steinberg and Daniela Peleg, and then the top 2 of that will advance through up into the final up against Maja Giesler. So as you said, Rafferty, Maja Giesler sitting in a pretty good position today, but it is very much still all to play for every single one of the athletes.
It certainly is. As we said, yes, Maja has worked extremely hard throughout the week, putting herself in that top position, and she's already guaranteed herself a spot on that podium, which is amazing. But also, the awesome thing, anyone inside of this semi-final there, well, that quarterfinal there does have a shot also. But it's almost a level playing field now. So, you know, it is whoever comes top 2 within this race guarantees themselves a spot in that semi-final. But we are coming up to the last minute before the first quarterfinal of the day gets going, here for the final day of the iQFOiL 2024 European Championships.
So we had confirmation as well from Ava and the rest of the race crew. We are going for course racing, so there is obviously a little bit of wind out there. Generally, if it's kind of 9 knots, something like that underneath, but we are going for course racing, and it is a special type of course that we do for this format. So let's take a little look at that and how it works. Rafferty, talk us through it.
There it is. So it starts off with that reaching start. It's full power to that first mark. They then make their way downwind. They then have the decision whether to go out onto the left side or the right side. Here is where we see some of the biggest splits and tactics being put in play, back up to that top mark, through the gate and towards that finish. But there we are, coming up to the women's quarterfinal. Only around 20 seconds to go. They are all foiling, just getting prepared. Where is that start line? How are they able to hit that start line? Full power, full speed at the 0-0. But is Anastasia Valkovic deciding to go quite low down that pin end? She probably thinks that she has the speed, but it is Shahar Tibi coming in with a lot of speed, banging that pin end. Oh, core blimey, was it a good start? We will find out very soon, but it is Shahar Tibi maybe getting the best start. She did accelerate extremely hard and possibly had the best start to this quarterfinal.
Absolutely, yeah, Shahar Tibi there. You could see them all just before they went. They were very much kind of sitting on the back of the foil, kind of up on the foil still, but not accelerating too much. Shahar Tibi, perfect timing there. We saw that yesterday in the course racing going around that top mark, and it looks like she's done the same again with that start. And as you can see, Rafferty, you said she is definitely ahead of the pack, but a little bit further down as well as they make their way towards the first mark.
It is pretty light though, considering, I mean, we're looking out here. It's a great view actually to see what the wind's like. It's probably around that, say, maybe 12 knot mark, enough for that course racing. And there is that first mark. Shahar Tibi taking an early lead within this race. She did have a very good day yesterday, winning some races. And will she be able to win this one? We will find out very soon. But remember, it is all about who will be able to get the first and second spots. But it looked as if what a maneuver there from Sarah Vernicas. Maybe she saw that little gust and decided to jibe off super early, and maybe that has put her in a very good position. But it is extremely light out here, isn't it? They're pumping hard. Sarah on our screens at the minute, looking like she's taking that second spot.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really good tactical decision there. As you could see, coming round that first mark, she did opt to jibe. Looks very, very for the course. They will go round that. They can go round at either side, so it's a bit of a tactical decision there to be made before they head back up to the pin end at the top of the course, back down again through the gate, and then of course my favourite part of the race, that reach towards the finish line. We always get a great drag race there.
Indeed, but it is Sarah Vernicas putting in another jibe just to make it downwind. Will she be able to roll over the top of Shahar Tibi? It looks as if she is. She has taken the lead within this race, but remember, it is all about the top two. Shahar and Sarah will just be trying to defend their positions now, but also the remaining of this quarterfinal determines where they finish in the overall standings. So Mina, in that 7th place at the minute, you know, she's got nothing to lose. She will be pushing to the max. It's pretty light though, but it is Shahar Tibi still in the lead, rounding off onto that left side of the course. Sarah maybe having that better mark rounding, just managing to go a little bit higher. But Shahar, she's cruising out. She's cruising out. How will she be able to keep this lead within the race?
Absolutely, yeah. Shahar Tibi, yeah, managing to get round the mark first. Really interesting to see all of them choosing to go round one mark. So, yeah, clearly there's a definite bias going on in the wind. Shahar Tibi there, you can really get a sense of board speed. As you can see on the left-hand side of your screens, that's the kind of live readings of how fast they're going. Rafty, you mentioned earlier, it's probably sitting around 12 knots. If anything, I'd say potentially even less.
Yeah,
maybe more
less,
around that kind of 10-knot range. And bearing in mind, these guys are heading upwind as far as they can. Rafty, you mentioned something yesterday, but maybe let's talk about it today if people didn't join us. us. Let's talk about that upwind angle and finding that perfect, you call it the VMG. So, you want to carry that board speed, but you also want to find a good angle where you can cover as much ground as possible. Can you talk us through what it's like for them trying to find that? And then, of course, going into that unique position, we can see Shahar in there where she's kind of grabbing her uphole.
Indeed. It is all about, the whole game is a bit of counterbalance, but it's also that mental kind of side as well. So how will they be able to do the fastest course? There's two kind of sides to it. They can do the shortest course, or they can go the fastest. If you do the shorter course, you maybe go a little less fast. However, if you do the longer course, you can go a bit faster. So it is all about that big balance, and especially in the two kind of techniques. We saw Sarah going for that kind of maybe slower upwind, but she did have the extra angle, so she maybe gained a few meters there, and Shahar going for that speed as she is showing us on the screen at the minute. Again, as you said, that kind of leaning out from the equipment, trying to get as much leverage off that equipment, putting that power through the foil and directing that into speed and upwind VMG.
Really, really impressive there. Like, looking at Shahar compared to the rest of the pack, she's definitely got a couple of extra knots of board speed. I mean, just there, and you can see the pumping, the physicality of this. It's very easy to look at this, and we say that we're guilty of saying it a lot. We always say the word cruising, but they are not cruising at all, aren't they? They are working hard.
They are certainly. I mean, it looks like maybe they're just leading out from the equipment, but no, they're still working hard, going through their head. In going through Shahar's head on the screen at the minute, how can I stay in the lead? How can I secure my spot within that semi-final? But it's looking like Mina down the bottom there having a very, very good first little upwind there, which is very interesting, as at that bottom mark we saw that she was actually in last place. So she took the big risk. I couldn't quite make it out if she's taking the lead there, but it looked jolly close indeed. So we'll find out that very soon. Did she take the risk that paid off, or it is indeed Mina Mobeck just dropping off the foil there on the left side of the screens that we saw? But she's straight back up onto it. Will she be able to be in that top 2 position, qualifying into that semi-final? But it is spaced out quite a lot already, isn't it, Sandy?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mina Mobeck pulling off a really impressive run there, has brought herself right up into second place, and it's worth noting, you don't have to come first in this race. You can come in the top 2. So actually, Shahar Tibi with a pretty dominant lead, and has been leading for the entire race, so it does feel a little bit like a battle for second place. But that's absolutely fine. That's not your guaranteed result. That's just going to, as you said, Rafti, catapult you straight up into that semi-final. So still really, really important to be putting on as much of a performance as possible. Taking a look at the speeds, it does look like the wind has dropped ever so slightly, but equally the speeds there, we're seeing 19, verging on 20 knots. I mean, taking a look at that there, that's not necessarily water you'd be pleased to see as a windsurfer.
Well, that's the usual kind of thing. I mean, if you're a shortboarder or something like that, you look out, maybe it's not a windsurfing day. However, it is always a windsurfing day, as the iQFOiL class is showing here. As we said, it is quite light now out on the course for the medal races of the final day of the European Championships, but this just adds another element of how they are going to race. They have been putting in insane amounts of training all for this moment. How's the drive from Shahar Tibi? It is indeed safe. Still pumping out of it though, just to ensure that she has the maximum speed, maximum downwind angle. But Mina Mobeck, Norway 332, she has really come back, which is really interesting to see. Her upwind must have been absolute corker.
Yeah, Mina Mobeck there with a really interesting technique. She kind of just suddenly came into the shot there, and it's what we were talking about yesterday on this downwind. So again, similar to the upwind, like choosing the best sort of VMG, and actually she went really, really deep there, almost kind of riding the foil, in these light winds. So kind of still using the sail, of course, but going as deep as possible, and it looked like it definitely has paid off for her as we round the final mark, heading towards that finish line. You can see in the background, it looks like Shahar Tibi, a pretty confident lead. Someone coming off the foil there. I think that's Sarah Vernicus. Is it?
I think it is indeed.
Yeah, heartbreaking there, coming off the foil, and it looks like it will be it's Anastasia Valkovic behind Shahar Tibi as we make our way towards the final. So coming out of nowhere, as you said, they really spaced out in that downwind, but they all kind of came together really close as they went around that final mark. And it looks like as we get towards that finish, Shahar Tibi has secured her place in that semi-final. And then, yeah, Anastasia Valkovic.
Wow.
Really, really impressive performance there. Came out of nowhere, unexpected.
Yeah.
Heartbreaking there for Sara Venicas, just coming down off the foil at the worst possible time for that to happen. Really, really interesting results there.
Blimey, yeah, I wondered what would have happened there. I didn't quite make it out, but Anastasia's downwind must have been insane. But it is indeed Shahar Tibi and Anastasia Valkovic banking themselves a spot inside of that semi-final for the women.
Really, really impressive performance there. Let's take a little look at the recap of that race. So yeah, interesting start. As you said, Rafti, Shahar Tibi, look at that, timing it absolutely perfectly. Coming across the line with kind of 2 or 3 board lengths ahead of everyone else. Anastasia Valkovic actually had a really good start, but then she kind of got lost in the pack throughout the middle.
Yeah, I mean, as you said, I mean, we're seeing here, she was in that kind of second place position, a very good start, but then, you know, maybe not quite having the middle part of the race that she was hoping for, but then came back at the end. But it was Shahar Tibi just dominating throughout this competition. She kind of had the best start there, debatably the best start, and she just defended the whole way through. How was she being able to dominate, keep that race lead? And well, I mean, there we go. Actually, there was that moment where Mina Mobek took that lead, actually. Yeah, excuse me. Mina managed to take the lead in that race, but it was just not the jibe she was hoping for, just dropping back a little bit, but it was still Shahar taking that lead. And there's that point there. There's that point.
Yeah, Mina Mobek there coming down towards that last mark, and then let's wait and see her.
Coming.
Yeah,
right. Quite make it out, but yeah, well, I mean, she came into it either way.
As you said, you know, as they were coming down that final downwind, they were all kind of really spread out, and suddenly as soon as they got to that mark, it was like they all converged at the same time. And I think Anastasia Valkovic just made it out at the right time. I feel like they kind of got, people had to dodge a little bit. Obviously Sara Venicas came down off the foil, so they've had to get out of her way a little bit, and I think she may have just got the cleanest route out.
Certainly did. As we go to that standings for the women's quarter-final. So Isla Watson finishing her competition with a 10th place overall. Absolutely awesome result there. Lola Sorin in the 9th place. Mina Mobek finishing in 8th place overall. Sarah in 7th. Maya in 6th. But then inside of that semi-final, we have Shahar and Anastasia, still not determined where they will finish overall in the competition. We could have been watching our 24. What happens? I mean, Shahar, she's got a lot of experience. She was the 23 world sailing, world champion at the World Sailing Allianz Regatta. Could she be doing it again? Guess we're going to find out.
Absolutely, yeah, she's definitely a name, and I imagine she probably finished yesterday thinking I should be higher up already, and she's definitely proven why she deserves to be with a really, really dominant performance there in that quarter-final. So yeah, the women next up will be going up against, in that semi-final, up against Tamar Steinberg and Daniela Peleg as well.
Indeed,
yeah, it's going to be a really exciting. So yeah, only 4 racers in the next race, and then the 2 winners of that first and second place of the semi-final, they will go up into the final up against Maya Giesler. So Maya Giesler, on the one hand, has a much easier job today because she just gets to sit back and she's, as you said, guaranteed a podium. However, she hasn't been able to get out on the course. She doesn't necessarily know what those conditions are like. Whereas, you know, all of the riders in the semi-final, they'll have been able to kind of feel out and figure out which side of it. Obviously, with the course that we're running today, you know, with that gate at the bottom, you know, there was definitely a bias. All of the riders choosing to go round. I'm sure Maya Giesler's keeping a close eye on it, but she's not necessarily being able to watch it. But let's go over to an interview on the water.
Yes, I'm here with the winner of the quarterfinal, Shahar. Well done.
Thank you very much. It was a tough race, but I'm happy I managed to win it.
Yes. Yeah. How was it? It was actually very open, so it wasn't a straight win.
Yeah. You needed to fight in every leg. Like it was, every leg was different leading, so you needed to be in control on the left, on the right. So it was quite hard and very physical. But now I need to think about the next race. So.
Yeah, of course. Some pumping was involved, I see, because the wind is there, but it's not as strong as we were hoping.
Cool to see a little insight on what it's like out on the course. Yeah, she said she's going to be preparing for that next race. As you said, she's got a bit of experience on the course, but also she will be, well, as she will be joining Tamar and Daniela. You know, they're still fresh. They still are fresh. They haven't been they haven't been pumping. We heard that Shahar that was a hard race, pumping a lot of time. So it goes both ways, and this is going to be really exciting on who manages to do the best tactics, best strategy out on the course and get that title. But we are going to the men's quarter final now. Around 2 minutes to go on the course, and in this quarter final we have Adrian Mestre. He came in today in that 4th place. A really good competition so far for him. Finn Hawkins also in this, along with his teammate Matthew Barton. Manolo Modena, Italian as well. He's a young dude, absolutely shredding out here at the European Championships. Luke Van Opsieland, he is in this quarter-final, fresh from Paris 2024. He is the bronze Olympic medalist, so he's certainly got what it takes to win this quarter-final. Max in that 10th place position, and also Andy Brown, he came in 9th. But you know, everyone, this is an even playing field now. So we're going to find out who banks themselves a spot into that semi-final. It is quite light out there though, isn't it, Sandy? Yeah,
it looks like it's definitely dropped a little bit. Another thing to touch on there, a few people may be confusing if you just tuned in. Max Castelline, after a protest, actually got through into that 10th place. Bernat was originally 10th, but has now dropped down to 14th, I believe. So yeah, a bit of a heartbreaking day, but that's part of the racing, isn't it, with the protest. As you can see, they're just under a minute and 20 seconds to go until the men. So we will be alternating between the men's and women's fleets. So we've got men's quarter-final coming up now before we go back to the women for their semi-final. So do not go anywhere. The action is only getting more and more underway. And hopefully, as you can see, we've got beautiful clear skies here. And I know the wind, it is forecast to kind of switch and turn around a little bit today, but the local knowledge kind of said, no, you guys want to be doing the racing in the mornings. But because it is a bit warmer, hopefully we will get that thermal effect. That was definitely something that we had kind of from this direction yesterday. So fingers crossed that'll happen as it warms up throughout the day.
Indeed. I mean, the forecast was for it to be kind of consistent throughout the day. It was meant to be a little bit more wind than this, so it will maybe a little bit throughout the day, but what we can say, it is still quite tricky out here due to it being offshore. So if you think about it, the wind has to pass all those buildings on the horizon, so that can mix it up a little bit, make it a little bit gusty, make the wind change directions. Sometime an easy way to think about it is that the wind is a little bit dirty. So the riders here really need to make sure they are in the right place at the right time to harness the power of the wind and hopefully win the races. But here we go, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is that start down that bottom end. Adrian Mestre putting down the power. Will he be able to? Oh, caught blimey! I heard a double hoot there. Yeah. So that unfortunately means that someone was over the start, meaning that they are binned and disqualified from that start. An absolute heartbreak for whoever that was. Could be one person, could be multiple, but we will find out very soon who was over that start.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I've got to say, it looked like Adrian Mestre. He was right down at that pin end. He was going over early. Let's take a little look at that replay. And having a look at it, he was definitely the first one over. But again, there could be a little bit of a bias in that start line. But yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely over early. Obviously, of course, you can see there's a bit of an angle there. But, you know, he was over well before anyone else. And potentially it's one of the GB riders. I can't quite see which sail number it is because of the sun. But yeah, we'll just wait and see. I mean, hopefully it will be a pretty clear one and we'll be able to get underway. But Rafferty, talk me through it. What happens if someone goes over the line early?
Yeah, so it'd be really cool if we saw that replay. It's really cool because basically petition, unfortunately, but yeah, we're gonna see Finn Hawkins next to that boat there. Hopefully he isn't over that start, but there they are with the watch, gonna with that big horn. That's a cool horn, that. But I mean, let's wonder who was over. Indeed.
Yeah, we're just finding out now. I mean, you can see they were writing on the whiteboard. I was trying to squint and have a look, but we couldn't quite make it out. As you can see, all the riders kind of gathering around, figuring out what's going on. I mean, the fact that Adrian Mestre has gone straight to his boat, I mean, maybe he knows.
Maybe
straight
he
away,
knows,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean, there's always a chance, though, always a chance. But it's interesting because they've already put the general recall flag down, so that means that
They've started the countdown again.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Yeah.
So they've shown all these riders who was over, but it would be interesting to get a little shot to see who was over that start. But yeah, as we said, maybe Adrian down that bottom end. Here's Adrian Mestre on the boat at the minute. I mean, there could be a chance that no one was over. I mean, but we will get confirmation soon to see what is going on in this men's quarterfinal. It really. Okay, there we go. Oh, God blimey! There we go. We can see on that whiteboard just behind those two race committee dudes that France 7 is over that start, unfortunately, meaning that Adrian, that's the end of his competition. But he's had an amazing competition so far. He's been in that top 3 going through these days, and bit of a shame to end it on that over early, but he'd be extremely excited. He did come into today in that 4th place position, so a great competition from him. But these are the stakes, you know. He went over that start, you know. That's the game. That's the game. You can't be going over that start. So hopefully we'll get underway with this next rerun of the quarterfinal.
Absolutely, yeah. Just over 2 minutes to go until the start. You can see them kind of getting up and flying again. It is always the risk, you know, with... well, I find it definitely happens more, maybe in my experience. I don't know, Rafty, maybe you can speak to it, but I swear that the over-earlies generally do happen a lot more when it's an across-the-wind start, you know, and especially in the medal race as well. Everyone's pushing so hard, and it's just finding that perfect balance, that fine line that we saw demonstrated so perfectly by Shahar Tibi in the last race. You know, they're kind of riding the foils, but not really kind of going too fast. They don't want to touch down at all, staying up, and then the last few seconds, a couple of pumps, just picking up as much board speed as possible to cross that line. But it's just that fine line of not going over too early, because then that's it. It's over. You're going back to the beach.
Yeah. As we saw Adrian there, he is now out of that quarterfinal, but an amazing week from him. He finishes this week in 10th place position at the European Championships. Imagine 10th in Europe. That's sick. That is so wicked. So hopefully he will be happy with his competition. But it is straight back on with the rest of these riders within this quarterfinal. So a quick reminder of who is in this race: Finn Hawkins, Manolo Modena, Luc van Opsieland, Matthew Barton, Andy Brown, and also Max Castellin from the Netherlands. But we are coming up to the last 40 seconds before they get underway with this quarterfinal.
Any standouts for you within those names? Anyone in particular, or is it? I mean, for me, looking at it, I would say, you know, judging by the performances we saw yesterday in the course rating, it is such an even playing field among the men. Everyone is performing to such a high level.
Yeah, this is anyone's game at the minute. It all comes down to the race. You know, who can perform the best under this pressure. This is the sport. They have to compete, they have to be in the zone, and they have to concentrate to ensure that they are in that top 2 to qualify into that semi-final. But they are all speeding up. Where is that start line? Where's the gun? And that looks like possibly it is a good start indeed. Down that bottom end, it is Andy Brown putting in some really big pumps, trying to make sure that Luc van Opsieland doesn't roll him, but Andy holding his own here to the rest of those riders. Max Castellin, Netherlands, 36, also in amongst there, Matthew Barton, but it is Finn Hawkins, GBR1 line down that top end, who will be going towards that first mark in that first place. It is all extremely close though, isn't it, so far?
Absolutely, yeah. You can see there is a bit of a clear line. You know, there's kind of 3 and 3 at the moment. Obviously, one knocked out, so there's only 6 of them. Someone's actually dropped off the foil there. Really frustrating.
Max.
I'm not too sure who it was.
Yeah, I think
Max
it was
Castellin,
Max.
was it?
Yeah, I think it was Max, unfortunately,
So
showing
dropping
how
off.
tricky the conditions are out here, actually. It is pretty light. It's very light now, actually. But
a bit of a battle there.
There we go. Look how close it is still into that. But it is Andy Brown leading currently in this quarterfinal, closely followed by Luke and the rest of the riders, though, who will be going to that bottom mark, that bottom gate in those top 2 positions.
Absolutely, yeah, some really impressive performances going around there. You can see it is that kind of thing that we saw earlier on. Everyone kind of spreads out a little bit, but generally once we get to the marks, they do all kind of sort of converge at exactly the same time. It just makes it super, super exciting as we see here, making their way around. It looks like in the background managing to get back up on the foil there, but still a really difficult one for Max. Got a bit of a lifeline after that protest yesterday, so to come down off the foil, I wonder what happened there. Maybe he just got left behind a little bit in terms of hit a bit of a lull, because everyone else managed to stay up and going, and he was behind a little bit, but he was still kind of with the pack, and then suddenly he just dropped off. Really interesting showing. Obviously, as you said earlier, Rafti, we are in offshore winds, so it is very gusty, very patchy, as you see Manolo Modena there throwing in his jibe as they make their way down towards the gate at the bottom. But actually Luke van Opzeeland now finds himself in the lead.
Indeed. But yeah, as you said, Max up that top end, dropping off the foil. That happened exactly because all the riders were going extremely close together, and because trying to stay in that top two. Remember, it is all about just being in that top two. Andy putting in a very wide and safe jibe at this bottom gate, just allowing him to start his upwind with as much speed and as much upwind angle as possible. But look how light it is. Luke just really pumping down to ensure that he makes that bottom mark.
Really, really interesting tactics there from Andy Brown. Kind of looked like he was coming down towards one of the pinheads, decided to throw a jibe in, and as you said, went super, super wide and went round on the other side. So gone round the other side of the gate. None of the women in the previous quarter-final went round this side of the gate to make their way back up again. So maybe the wind has changed ever so slightly, because they all went round that kind of left mark. So yeah, really, really interesting to see these guys going around that different one. Andy Brown there in that unique position, kind of holding onto that up pole, presenting as much of the sail to the wind as possible. Really, really important when you're doing that upwind leg. You can see the trim of the sail there. I mean, he's dare I say the word, hard. He is definitely cruising there, isn't he?
Yeah, he's working hard there. I mean, you can see on his face. I mean, when the light shines on his face, look at it. He's working so hard. And after that downwind as well, he was pumping throughout. So this is kind of, I mean, he's not pumping at the minute, so is he just allowing his muscles to recuperate a little bit for the next pumping stint coming up very soon? As soon as he tacks, he will be pumping extremely hard just to get right back up on that foil, keep the speed, keep the upwind angle. But look at that. I mean, Manolo Modena is looking like from that live kind of the live rankings there, maybe he's taken the lead. I think he might have gone off onto the other side of the course. I'm pretty sure that's him there. So we will see very soon if that was the right route to take. But there is Andy Brown currently leading. Well, he was leading that race. Yeah, and it's a good tack. It's a good tack. But really it is Finn Hawkins and Manolo Modena deciding to go off onto the other side of the course.
So yeah, really interesting. Again, we're seeing a bit of a split of the pack there. Potentially as the wind drops off. But yeah, going back to our leader there, Andy Brown. I mean, a really, really nice tack there. And when the wind is this light, things are so changeable. There's so many variables. Trying to get those good transitions is so important. But I mean, looking at that, look at the board speed there for Andy. GBR 360, 21.5 knots. So he's featured in 5 medal races so far as well. So he's no stranger to this. So yeah, I think he's really putting in a great performance, and he's pretty far ahead of everyone else by the looks of it. Luke van Opzeeland still sitting in second. Really, really impressive. That's Finn Hawkins we've got up on screen there. So a bit of pumping going on. Andy Brown, not seeing him do that much pumping. It looks like he's kind of cruising. Maybe a few going outside. But look, he's got that really kind of rigid stance going on, trying to drive as much power through the sail and through the foil.
There he's pumping though.
Now he's pumping.
Here is going to be the very interesting point where the crosses happen.
Yeah.
Remember, Finn Hawkins and Manolo Modena went out onto the other side of the course. So will this have paid? We're going to be seeing that very, very soon. But looks as if they have underlaid that mark. That is the mark up on the right side of the screen at the minute. Yeah, indeed. So we will see that cross. They're probably on the left side of the screens at the minute, both Manolo and also call blimey. So
I think they're all on the same side. Well, there's the cross
Manolo.
there.
There's Manolo indeed. Where's? Oh, God blimey! It's so light out here, isn't it?
Finn.
Oh, Finn just dropping off the foil. Oh no.
Oh, they're all going for their tacks, and yeah, they've all kind of dropped off. Not ideal at all. You can see here coming round, yeah, really frustrating there. But yeah, probably wait for another little gust. You can see someone, I think that's Luke van Opsieland heading off into the background over there, still up on the foil. So
yeah,
this is really, really a little bit more fluky. It's going to become, as we see Luke van Opsieland going around the tack,
just
touches
dropping off
down.
as well. Now it is a fight of who can get up onto that foil first. Luke putting in some huge pumps. Look at how he is working that equipment, and he is straight back up onto the foil. Will this manage him to take the lead within this quarterfinal? I think it might do, unless a miracle happens to these both British riders to get back up onto the foil. But heartbreak here from both Andy and Finn as they both dropped off the foil, and we can see the difference in speed from when you're on the foil to when you are off the foil. There is just no chance, unfortunately. We can see a little gust coming through, but there where they are, it is extremely light indeed. But that has allowed Luke van Opsieland and also, oh no, that's Manolo still making his way upwind indeed. But it's tricky conditions out there. Okay, they're back up onto the foil, both British riders up there. It's tricky out there, isn't it?
Yeah, really, really tricky, really changeable conditions. But I mean, Luke van Opsieland there, you know, showing why he's an Olympic medalist. You know, they're just managing to tack round, dropped off a bit, but pumping back up onto the foil there. Oh, gets a bit close to that boat there.
Right.
Pumping up onto the foil there. You know, he's you know, really maximising everything he can get out of it. Made a really good tactical decision. Perhaps noticed that in the middle where the other two guys tacked, maybe there wasn't so much wind. He went out onto the fringes of the course, threw in that tack and got back up onto the foil, giving him a bit more distance to get himself up and going with a really nice mark rounding. And yeah, he's seeing himself, you know, heading back down towards that gate. And all he's got to do now is be first round that
qualifying position. But Finn Hawkins, GBR 19, is close on his tails, really trying to find out how he can attack Andy and take that second place position. But Luke just dropping off the foil a little bit there, but no, he has caught it. But let's have a look at that second and third place. Manolo Modena has come straight back up into it as well. It is a fight for that second place. Oh no.
Though, so that flag has gone up, and that means the race has been abandoned. So the race committee have determined that the conditions are too changeable. I think what we saw there, Manolo Modena coming through, but Finn Hawkins, I think, dropped off the foil. Looking at his board speed, his board speed literally fell off a cliff, disappeared completely. So yeah, Andy Brown still maintaining a good one. That'll be a pretty frustrating outcome for Luke van Opsieland there.
Yeah, he won't be too happy about that, but that is the game, you know. Obviously, the race committee decided that it is unsuitable conditions to race, so that race was abandoned indeed. You can see that checkered flag, that blue and white checkered flag. That means that it has been cancelled, so they will be making their way back upwind to rerun this this quarter-final, sorry. I mean, no doubt it will be due to the wind dropping a little bit too much, because we have seen it is really quite gusty and shifty. So I mean, my thoughts are definitely that the lower end is not quite raceable, but there is that recap of the quarterfinal that we just saw.
So yeah, frustrating times for all these riders, you know, off to a really good start, and it looked, this first run, they looked really powered up, they looked really comfortable, obviously a bit of pumping, but then as they made their way towards the end, Max just dropping off the foil and kind of separating from the pack, and then after that, you know, this race was kind of plagued with a few of the riders sort of dropping off the foils, you know, at various points throughout it. So yeah, I mean, it is a difficult one, you know. I certainly wouldn't want to be part of the race committee having to make these decisions, you know, because it is hard, because on the one side you can kind of say, look, you know, there was a result inbound. You know, Luke van Opsieland had just crossed the mark. He was making his way towards that finish line. Likewise, Andy Brown making his way down, still up on the foil. Manolo Modena had created a really good lead, you know, bringing himself up into third, potentially a bit of a fight for second place. But Finn Hawkins was there dropping off the foil again. You know, it's really difficult to be able to call, and how do you define it as fair racing? And ultimately, I think it was the right decision.
Yeah.
Because, you know, ideally you want you don't want them to be dropping off the foils ever, really. You want them to be able to be up and going around. It's a bit like taking the engine out of a car in a race. You want them to be able to stay up and be cruising around and be able to focus on making those tactical decisions rather than having to focus on trying to keep going.
Yeah, the good thing about this, though, it is very black and white. The race committee is bound to the sailing instructions, and it's done by wind limits and all that, so it was unsuitable racing conditions, so that is why it's been abandoned, and we will be getting straight back into the rerun of the quarter final very, very soon. We will be switching to slalom, just got a little bit of thing, but that we will be going to slalom just to ensure that we can get these medal races going.
Absolutely, yeah, and let's go onto the water for a bit of an update on the conditions.
What a bummer. It was such a good race. Yes, the wind got a little bit lighter. It is gusty, it is shifty, but we've seen so many lead change, and Luke was just crossing the finish line when they called it off, when they abandoned it. So, I bet it's pretty frustrating. I'm sure Luke will not be happy about it. And there was such a good battle for second spot. So, really bummer, but this is what happens when you play with the weather. And, let's do another one, and let's hope it's just as exciting as this one was.
Great insights there from what's going on the course. Thank you. As we said, it's the weather. That's what we're playing with. But Rafferty, briefly, you just mentioned they're swapping over to slalom.
Yeah, they are indeed. So I got a little update from Valerie out on the course that they will be switching to slalom. So slightly different course that will be racing here. Why has the decision been made to switch to slalom? It's because with the slalom racing, we can run this course in slightly lighter winds, slightly more changeable winds as well, as we're seeing out on here. It's quite gusty, it's quite shifty, but it is also quite light. But with these slalom races, we will be able to get going. With the rest of these medal races, do not go anywhere. We've still got the men's quarterfinal to go, both semi-finals to go, and also those grand finals where we will be determining our podiums overall and ultimately our 2024 European champions.
Absolutely, yeah. Bit of a frustrating one there, but ultimately, I think making the correct decision, as you said, Rafferty. They've got to adhere to the rules, that are set by the sailing governing bodies. There are wind limits, and it's important to kind of offer fair sailing. But yeah, as Rafferty mentioned, they will be switching to slalom. So slalom, obviously, if you're unsure, that will not be incorporating any upwind into it. So actually, in the lighter winds, the slalom course is a lot easier to be able to run. There's way less chances that anyone's going to be dropping down off the foils. Obviously, as you make your way upwind, you're going to have less power in the sails. It's harder to keep up and going. Any windsurfers or anyone who sails will know this. So the slalom is exactly what it sounds like. It's a slalom course, all kind of downwind and jibes. So yeah, way less of a chance people will be dropping off the foils. And also, like a really exciting race format. It's definitely one of my favourites. It's really short. It's really quick. There are a lot of chances for upsets. Things happen very, very quickly. So yeah, it'll be very, very exciting.
Yeah, it certainly will. But we are seeing that blue and white checkered flag up on the boat, just showing that previous race was abandoned. But yeah, this is probably a good chance to say that drop a little comment in the YouTube, in the Facebook. Tell us where you're all tuning in from. If you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying the stream today. I'm sure we certainly are. I'm having an epic time here. But yeah, drop it in. I'm having a look at the comments. So see where you're coming in from if you're enjoying it. But also, if possible, let's share it all around. Let's spread the stees out of here. There's still stees going on in the water, even though it's really light winds probably around that 10 knot mark, maybe even less in some of the lulls. So get out your popcorn, get out the TV, and sit down and have a froth over this epic racing.
Absolutely, and yeah, let's check out some more information from Eva, who we spoke to this morning, about the plan for today and the rest of the upcoming medal races.
Ewa Jodłowska, so-called PR of the event. Yes, today we have final medal series. We call this medal series. For each fleet we have 3 races, men and women. We have quarter-final, we're qualified from 10 to 4th place. And then 2, the best, they are qualified for semi-final, where already we have 2nd and 3rd in opening series. And then 2 best qualified to final, where already the best of the whole week is there, and 2 from semi-final. So at the end, in the grand final, we have 3 athletes who are fighting for the medals. Every time from each heat, 2 are qualified to the next stage. So from quarter-final, 2 best are going to semi-final, and from the semi-final, 2 best are going to the final, where they meet the winner of the opening series, who already just directly is in the final. The whole week says that maybe you can't trust the forecast, but basically what the local knowledge, that's why we are so early. At 10:30 there is the first warning, as they claim that, and this is one of the model, that at 10:30 we already will have the wind knots. It may happen that at 12:30 the wind disappeared, but who knows. Yeah, basically in this place, like when the wind arrives, it is more or less in whole bay. So we try to be with the final races as close as possible to the venue, to the land, to give the possibility for the people to watch. But of course, if there is better wind somewhere else, we will have to move the course. So we are waiting just for the wind of 6 to 7 knots, and then we can start. With 6 to 7 knots, we just go for the slalom course, which we start on the ridge, and then the finish is on the bottom of the course. And if we will have 9 knots, then we will go for leeward-windward course, which is downwind and upwind and downwind, and then the finish. So this race is a little bit longer, as the slalom is for 4 minutes, and leeward-windward course is for the 6 minutes, the target time. In the downwind slalom, we have the start on the ridge. Then there is Mark 1, where everybody can choose in which direction they will go downwind. So, and then there is the leeward mark and 2 slalom legs. So still they have 1 ridge, another ridge, and then they finish. On the downwind, upwind course, there is another, there is more tactics, because on upwind you can go as well to the right or to the left of the course, so it's more tactical. But still, downwind slalom, there is this tactical to choose on which direction of the downwind to go, and you can lose or you can win on choosing that.
Some great information there for the course, and we are receiving updates from I think they are going to be switching to slalom, resetting, and then we're going to wait for the wind to stabilize a little bit. So we are going to go on hold for a little bit. Do not go anywhere, and we will be back very soon with some more racing action.
And there we go. We are straight back into the action. And we are going for slalom. Slalom. There was a little bit of kind of conferring, a little bit of thinking, a little bit of kind of arranging with the race committee, deciding whether they wanted to go for the slalom course or the medal race course. But we are indeed going for that slalom course. Mostly due to the tricky winds out here in Cagliari for day number 6 of the 2024 European Championships. But we are coming into the last minute and a half around that until we get ready for that women's semi-final.
Absolutely, women's semi-final. So in this, we have Tamar Steinberg and Daniela Peleg. They were already up into the semi-final, and joining them are Shahar Tibi and Anastasia Valkovic. So coming in first and second in that quarter-final, especially Anastasia Valkovic, a real highlight. Just at the last mark there, before the kind of reach across to the finish line, all of the pack converged on that mark, and she just came out the cleanest. And suddenly, I mean, Mirafti didn't even realise what was going on, and suddenly I was like, hang on a minute. Shahar Tibi, a dominant performance throughout the entire race. And Anastasia Valkovic joining them in. So it will be the 4 women, and this will be the first slalom race of the day. Rafti, we were discussing just on the whole period there. The difference between the kind of upwind downwind sort of course racing that we have for the medal races, that kind of America's Cup style course versus the slalom. And talking about it, do you kind of have a preference, and do you know if the athletes have a preference as well?
It all comes down to preference of the rider. Some people can prefer one course, some people can prefer the other course, and it's all down to kind of what their strengths are. But, there is still, with these 2 courses, still core racing technique, strategy, and also speed. So, it always does come down to this moment. These riders have been putting in day after day, work after work for this moment. This is a pinnacle moment for all of these riders within this semi-final. This is the difference. Oh, and there we go, popping off with the start, and it's looking like in the middle there, I think that may have been Tamar having a great start. Yes, Israel 2:16. Tamar Steinberg having the best start within this semi-final so far. In that second place, an early second place, is Daniela Peleg and Anastasia Valkovic in that third place. But remember, anything can happen as they all converge to that first mark.
Absolutely. Shahar Tibi not having the best start there, quite far behind the pack, but she will probably be looking to catch up. I mean, we certainly can't discount her after her performances over the last few days of racing. It looks like she's just off the screen, just upwind of everyone there as they make their way down to that first mark. But yeah, really interesting to see what's going on here. I mean, looking at it, Rafti, you've mentioned it a little bit, that kind of concept of sort of dirty wind, and that's certainly something that we're going to see as the pack kind of converges, as they make their way round that first mark. So they're going to be now heading downwind. Ooh, Anastasia Valkovic with an early jibe there, maybe spotting something across the other side, wanting to make the most of those gusts there.
Indeed. She was in that third place position, and remember, it is only the top 2 within this semi-final who qualify into that grand final. So, all the pressure, all the push will be getting inside of those top 2 positions. Anastasia Valkovic, she was in that third place, but she put in a really good jibe, and here she is, Poland 6.
Look at the speed difference there for Anastasia Valkovic compared to everyone else. She is just dropped now, but was going so much faster. I mean, still 19.9 was at 21 knots just now. I mean, you can see their board speed pumping a little bit there, potentially gone into a little bit of a lull as she throws in that next jibe. Maybe there's a little bit more wind across into the middle of the course potentially.
Yeah, well, it's looking like Tamar in the middle there has maybe found a bit of a push in the wind to help her get downwind a little bit better. And, God blimey, there's Anastasia Valkovic snatching the second place off of Daniela Peleg there. God blimey, there we go. She's in that qualifying position into that grand final at the minute. But they are all going towards that mark there. There we go. And Anastasia will be making it indeed. But I think it is Tamar, but also... going across, cruising out, and there they go, all towards that finish. Currently, at the minute, it will be Tamar and Anastasia in those top 2 positions. They will be trying their very best to hold that lead and hopefully bank themselves a spot into that grand final.
Absolutely incredible board speed there from Anastasia Valkovic throughout the whole thing. I mean, looking on the left-hand side of the screen, she's been going sort of 2 or 3 knots faster than everyone else as we see them rounding. I think that's the final mark there, so making their way down towards that last reach.
Safe jibes from both of these riders. Didn't quite see the back 2 riders, but Anastasia is still pushing. There is no stopping her, and along with Tamar Steinberg, not much separates these 2 riders between the end of this race and ultimately a spot on that podium. But indeed it is Peleg, indeed Israel 2, Daniela Peleg getting a spot inside of that grand final along with Anastasia Valkovic. Really so has a spot on that podium. Look at this battle here between that 3rd and 4th place positionings. It was extremely close, but a little bit of a lead from Daniela Peleg and also Anastasia here. But it was a safe last drive from both of these riders. Pressure was on, but they managed to execute it perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah, really frustrating race there for the other 2 riders, especially Shahar Tibi after putting in such a dominant performance in the last one. Potentially, Rafferty, this is what you were talking about earlier, you know, with the preferences that some of the riders have over the kind of course racing format versus that slalom format. You know, Shahar Tibi over the last few days, even yesterday in the course racing and today as well, so much dominance in those upwind legs.
Indeed, showing real dominance here, not quite having the race she was hoping for, but again, a extremely amazing result for Shahar. And along with all the rest of these riders within these medal races and all of the riders full stop in this competition. As we said, yeah, only the top 10 from each fleet, both the men and women, are racing today, but from all the previous days, all 69 men were racing, and also 40... I can't quite remember exactly the number of the women, but it was around that mark, all racing throughout this week.
Absolutely, really impressive. We're just waiting for confirmation there for the full results of this race, and then also waiting for confirmation of what we will be doing next. I don't know whether we'll be going on to finish the women's final. The race committee are just deciding. Obviously, taking a look at there, it looks like the wind has really dropped off a little bit. But I mean, you know, no one dropped off the foils there for that slalom race, did they? So fingers crossed, you know, the wind is holding a little bit, and we will be able to run within this kind of slalom format. We can see the orange flags going up there, so they're getting ready for another race. I think they're, by the looks of it, I think they might be sticking with the women's before we head into it. But yeah, as I said, we're just waiting for confirmation on that one. So yeah, as you can see, I mean, looking up into the background there, you can see there's a little bit of breeze, but you know, it's worth noting, you know, the riders you can see on screen, you know, they don't want to be up on the foils right now. That they're not doing that because the wind has dropped. They're doing that because they're gathered around the boat, and they're sort of, you know, getting themselves up and ready. I think.
Oh, it's the men on the screen
I think
at
that's
the minute.
The men on the screen, yeah. So potentially maybe we're going to go back and we're going to be running the men's quarter final. So obviously we tried to run that once. Someone was over early, so that race was abandoned and restarted. And then went over to, but the race sadly had to be abandoned again because it actually went over the time limit because the wind dropped. So a lot of them were doing it. But let's go over to an interview with the previous race winner on the water.
Yes, of course, we're here with Daniela. Well done, congratulations. So you just went into the race straight to semifinals and won it.
Yeah, I'm so happy. I've waited for this medal a long time. Feeling really good. I won the semifinal, was light wind, was a hard race, but yeah, I'm really happy.
Yeah, it was really light. It was almost marginal foiling. How did you manage? You'd never drop on off the foil.
Yeah, I'm feeling in a good shape. At the start, I managed to catch the gust, and then from there it was just to pump and to stay focused. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, slalom course is short, and it's they say not so tactical, but we've seen some changes behind you.
Yeah, in the downwind was tactical, because of the dropping of the wind, so we had to stay focused to see the gas, and I managed to do the jibe on the right time.
Well done, Daniela. Now a medal is secured, but you can still go for the best color of the medal.
Yeah, I want to go for the gold, and I will do everything.
So enjoy the next race.
Thank you very much.
Grazie, Daniela. Thank you.
She is stoked. She's happy. Daniela Peleg, she got that race win and is now on that podium. Daniela Peleg is rail 2. Cool, blimey, that's exciting, and we will be seeing her in the grand final in not too long at all. But we are going back to the men's quarterfinal coming up.
Absolutely, yeah. So these guys have sailed a couple of times already today, over early. As I said just before we got that interview, that the race after that had to be abandoned, and Luke van Opselen was literally crossing the finish line. So I'm going to be really intrigued to watch him and see whether he's managed to kind of channel that frustration, back into motivation and be like, right, no, hit the reset button, don't let that annoy you too much, and you just got to do the same thing again. Obviously, we've switched now to the slalom format, but Luke van Opselen, actually looking at earlier, the downwind runs were where he made real progress, wasn't it, in the last race?
Yeah, it will be very interesting to see if he comes back. If he comes back along with the rest of those riders. I mean, we saw Andy Brown leading for a lot of that race. Actually, will he be able to do it again and clutch a top 2 position? We will see very soon, along with the rest of those riders. But we actually have quick comment in the YouTube. Thanks for the live stream, so exciting. Waiting for Pavel in the final. Indeed, yeah, no worries. It's wicked. It's really exciting indeed. This is so cool to watch, and it's epic that we can see it out here for the final day of the European Championships. Pavel, yeah, he will be racing in the grand final in not too long at all. But here we will be seeing who will be joining Pavel in that grand final. Will it be Finn Hawkins? Will it be Andy Brown? Will it be Manolo? Will it be any of the rest in this quarterfinal? Maybe the 2 in the semi-final, but we will see very soon. But it is all down to this quarterfinal now. Who will be able to get in those top 2 positions to qualify into that semi-final?
Absolutely, as we see them winding up, getting their way towards that start line. You can see they're kind of sitting on the back foot a little bit, almost the board's kind of in that sort of wheelie position. They haven't quite put the gas on yet. As we get to the last few seconds, they are going to start pumping the sails, picking up as much speed as possible. They don't want to go over early. And let's wait and see, was that a good start?
Though. Oh, God blimey. I mean, that looked like an insane start.
Over early.
Yet someone was over early, unfortunately. Who was it? We saw a big group actually starting at that committee boat right near the top of that start. Oh, it was jolly close indeed.
I mean, there was a lot of them over there, so it's going to be interesting to see whose name's going to be, whose sail number is going to be up on the board there. But yeah, it did look like there was quite a few people. It was the pack was really close together. The race committee are going to be analysing that. Let's take a little look.
Replay.
I mean, it certainly was. I think that's Andy Brown at the bottom there. He was the last one over the line, so I think he's the only one I would say is guaranteed to be safe. But even then, there could be a bit of a bias in the line. Oh, actually, no. It looks like from this angle, it looks like he was potentially over at the same time.
It's tricky. I mean, we cannot.
It's so hard to tell from here.
This is purely just assumptions going on here, and we will get confirmation very soon. But what we can say is that
Luke van Opselen looked like he was definitely over early. Oh, that would be so. And that's what I just said there. There it is. Yeah, Luke van Opselen, the only one over early. So frustrating there again. Potentially, as we said just before the start of that race, Rafferty, that frustration of the last in the last race, basically crossing the finish line only for the race to be abandoned. Is he letting that frustration there? Just got a little bit too bullish. Picked up a little bit too much speed too early. Oh, that's a shame for him. He's going to be really frustrated there.
Cutthroat, but you can't be over the start. That's so we now have 2 riders out of the semi-final, out of the quarterfinal. Sorry, for the men, both Adrian Mestre and also Luke van Opselen, both.
Nice duck jump.
Yeah, cool, blimey. Yeah, that's steezy. that was pretty swag, but yeah, unfortunately Luke is out of that start, and now he finishes in 9th place at this 2024 European Championships. Again, a insane result. Maybe he was hoping for a bit more, having come from the Olympics, picking up a bronze medal. However, as we heard in previously throughout the week, he was still trying to. Here it was kind of like a cool down. It was not obviously starting the next cycle, but still having a good time with windsurfing and kind of that cool down for the next cycle starting now. But yeah, there we go. Little general recall now. Hopefully go on to the next one very soon.
Absolutely, yeah. Heartbreaking there, but as you said, Rafferty, this was very much a kind of chill event for him. He said he wasn't too worried about trying to get a really good result here. He kind of just wanted to get feet back in the straps, get back into some racing, and he will be heading back into the beach as we look to reset for this. So the pack is only getting smaller. We are now missing two big names. Adrian Mestre and Luke van Opzeeland are gone. We still have Finn Hawkins, Manolo Modeno, Matthew Barton, Andy Brown, and Max Castellan. Max Castellan, a late addition into that top 10 after a protest yesterday, so securing himself a bit of a lifeline into today's medal series. So kind of got nothing to lose, but that can be really dangerous, I think, sometimes. Again, looking at what we saw earlier, Andy Brown's the one who sticks out for me. He had such a great performance in that last race. Obviously, that was the America's Cup. We're now switching to the slalom format. So, again, adding in something new. But yeah, Andy Brown, as you can see him on screen there, had a really good race and is definitely very much on form today. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on him throughout this slalom race.
Yeah, Andy is one of the guys that this is a extremely important competition for. Actually, this will determine if he manages to get into into certain teams within the British, along with Finn as well, securing funding next for the next Olympic cycle coming up. So they will be really wanting to put in the very best result they possibly can. Looking at this view, it is extremely light out on the course at the minute, actually, unfortunately. We will be going into the next start, though, but it is extremely light. It's showing and highlighting how efficient and how fast and also how hard these guys are working this equipment to get the very max out of it. We're seeing those riders not currently foiling. They're around that committee boat, just timing when they're going to pump extremely hard, get up on that foil and hopefully hit that start exactly at the 0-0.
Absolutely, yeah. Just under 2 minutes to go. These kind of wide angle shots that we get here. I swear, looking at it, it never looks as windy as it actually is with these ones. It is always hard to tell. And with the guys sitting by the committee boat, they're not necessarily getting up and foiling. So when this gear is kind of sitting around, there we go. Good vibes there from Maya Giesler. So currently sitting up in first place. She hasn't taken to the water yet. Looks like she's in pretty good spirits.
Yeah, loving it, cruising out there, along with Mina as well on the boat there. But yeah, we saw previously in the week, I was out on the boat getting some videos, and she did a little backflip, and then she won a race after. So maybe backflipping is the way to go.
Maybe we're going to see another backflip just before the start of the race.
Yeah, there's Joost on the boat that we just saw. There's also Anastasia. She's having a very good medal race series so far. Will she be able to get the European Championship title? We will see
that's
very soon.
That's a happy boat at the moment, isn't it? Anastasia's boat to be in. Obviously, they're wanting to keep that focus, but she's it's the classic story of the medal series. Coming into it, fairly down low in that top 10, and now finding herself, a guaranteed podium, guaranteed top 3. She's going to be really, really stoked going into this, but it is not a time to stop pushing at all. And speaking of that, we're going back over to the men's. We are restarting this race after another over early, just over 40 seconds left to go. We're going to see them start doing it. Hopefully they're going to be a little bit more tentative with that. This is the fourth time that we've tried to run this race now. So I think they're going to want to try and hit the brakes a little bit more, be a bit more cautious when going over the line.
There we are. There is... It's Matt.
I think it's Matt Barton, yeah.
Indeed, it is Matt. Matt cruising up, getting up to speed into this race. who will be able to take the win. Remember, it is all down to that top two, all pumping extremely hard. There is the gun coming now, and off they go. Matt Barton down that bottom end, maybe having a very good start, but it is Max Castellin from the Netherlands also pumping extremely hard to maximise the power and speed on the equipment. Manolo Modena in that third place at the minute. Finn Hawkins, pretty similar to Manolo at the minute, but it is Matt Barton and also Max taking an early lead within this quarterfinal.
Absolutely, yeah. Matt Barton with a great start there, really streets ahead. You could see, a lot of pumping going on down into it. He was one of the athletes that we got to chat to earlier in the week, and he had a great start to his event. He was kind of sitting in third going into yesterday, dropped a few places, but as you can see, still in the medal series, so still all to play for. And something he was talking about a lot is kind of just keeping that fun element to this, remembering that he's out there windsurfing and he's just out to enjoy it with all the boys. There's a huge contingent of the GBR guys out here, and they're all kind of sailing together all the time. But it looks like they've all come off the foils.
It's pretty light. It is pretty light out there. We did see out the back.
They all had a little look back. I don't know whether there was a recall or whether
no,
whether they've all.
They've just dropped off the foil.
Yeah.
I mean, just due to those light winds. Andy Brown, we saw at the back, didn't manage to get foiling at all, unfortunately. So he was right out the back. But now the rest of those riders have now dropped off the foil, and we will see what the decision is made, whether we keep going with this race. I mean, now it is a absolute battle on who can get back up onto the foil first, because getting foiling is so much faster. But there we go, a fair few hoots going on there, signifying that race has now been abandoned, unfortunately. But there's the replay of that start. Look how hard they are pumping, just to really maximise and take every last bit of wind they possibly can out here in the waters of Cagliari. But Matt coming in with a great start.
Yeah, really good start there from Matt Barton. Yeah, suddenly those pumps, you could really see the acceleration he was getting every time he pumped. But then you could see here almost the sail, there's no resistance in that sail at all, almost oversheeting and then just coming down off the foil. And literally every single one of them did it exactly the same time. So yeah, it does look like that wind has dropped off a little bit. Pretty frustrating for these guys, but as we said earlier, that is part of the game. We are at the mercy of the weather and Mother Nature. But yeah, let's get another report with Raquela, who is on the water on the current conditions.
Oh, Sandy Rafferty, it's such a pity here. I mean, the Mistral, when the Mistral hits Sardinia, normally it does it strong and in a very strong way, convinced, and it normally lasts for all day. So it's either 1, 3, 5. I know that there's a bit of, legendary and mythical things around the Mistral, but it does normally come in much more decisively than it has done this time. So the local knowledge was talking about, the wind dropping throughout the morning and maybe not even arriving to midday. So we hit the midday point and the wind is kind of leaving the race course. You can see it in behind me, around me. I mean, it is still gusty, so you get some puffs around 8, 9, possibly 10 knots, but the average is I would say 8 and less out here on the race course. It's such a shame because everything is so beautiful here in the Gulf of Poetto. I mean, the water is flat, the sea is a beautiful blue, and the sky is blue with the sun shining. So it's really a pity because it's picture perfect. We just need some more wind, and let's hope that the local knowledge is wrong for once and we get some more wind. Back to you guys in studio.
Yeah, it is tricky out there. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, it's looking dreamy out there. It's looking dreamy, but as you said, yeah, it's missing one essential thing. Unfortunately, is
the most essential thing. Sadly, that breeze.
But yeah, hopefully it will come in. I mean, looking into the background there is some gusts. There are some gusts coming through. So if the race committee can time it and they do the start, they can race in those gusts, we will get this quarterfinal away, hopefully. I mean, looking at those live conditions, 4 to 6 knots, it's extremely light out there. that northwest direction, as Raquel has said. You know, hopefully it will keep picking up a little bit, as we see in the background, some significant gusts coming through, hopefully. But yeah, 25 degrees, it is dreamy. Imagine that, October, right? And it's 25 degrees, we're cruising. Look at the race committee, t-shirt and shorts, just lounging. Well, not lounging, but you know, like, they're having a good time.
Absolutely, and that is the orange flag up. So that is the start of the next countdown. So we will be getting underway. It looks like they have spotted a few gusts come through, and we will be making another go of this men's quarter-final. I swear there's always one race that's a little bit cursed, isn't there? There's always one race that takes quite a few tries to get done. And with this case, it is the men's quarter-final. So if you're just joining us, we're about to start the men's quarter-final. We've tried to do it a few times. Luke van Opzeeland and Adrian Mestre both over the line early on separate occasions, but yeah, that is a ticket straight back to the beach. So yeah, sadly they will not get a chance to race any further in the medal series. We have already completed the quarter-final and the semi-final for the women's. So coming up next for the women's will be the grand final. So Maya Giesler will get to take to the water for the first time. She's currently sitting up in that first place. She will be joined by Daniela Peleg and Anastasia Valkovic. Who has put in a brilliant performance today, just incredible board speeds, and yeah, catapult herself straight up into the final. As you can see, just under 3 minutes and 50 seconds left to go until this men's quarter-final coming up. So yeah, Adrian Mestre and Luke van Opzeeland no longer in it. So yeah, only 5 riders in this.
Only 5 riders indeed, as those two, both, as you said, Adrian and Luke, are out of this. Just highlighting how tricky it is out here, but also highlighting how hard they are pushing. You know, they are not slouching at all. Not being safe even, not being safe. They are taking every little ounce of gap, every little ounce of space they possibly can to hopefully beat their fellow competitors. But yeah, coming up to that 3-minute mark now. At that 3-minute mark, we will see that class flag being flown, which is the blue iQFOiL flag. There it is, up, the beautiful blue class flag going up, and that is that kind of 3 minutes. 3 minutes to go. We aren't seeing those riders foiling quite yet, but they are deciding when to put in their pumps, when to time it, when to hit that start at that 0-0 mark. But hopefully not the -1 mark, as we've seen in previous ones. Then you will be over the start and binned out of that start, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can see there, it just looks a bit fluky. You know, you can see further up towards the beach. You can see there's very, very little wind at all. So that's why, as you'd see, they're running the racing about 1 kilometre out to sea. Yesterday it was run a lot further out. But yeah, you know, around 1 kilometre to 2 kilometres out is where we're kind of seeing the best wind. Obviously, the race committee getting out there, deciding which works best. You know, throughout the week we had 2 courses, so Alpha course and Bravo course. Bravo course much further out. Towards the sea. Obviously, for the medal series, there's only a small amount of athletes. As you can see, there's only five guys in this one. And what I'm really interested in, and Rafferty, maybe you can speak to this. How does this start to affect the mindset when there's a race that is, you know, abandoned and restarted, and then people over the line early, so it needs to be, you know, restarted again? I guess you build yourself up and you get into this zone where you're so ready to compete, and then you kind of, that gets delayed. And you know, this is, you know, these guys have probably now been waiting half an hour, 40 minutes of restarts and restarts. What does that start to do for your mindset when you're sitting and waiting to go across that start line again?
It's really tricky. I mean, as it can go 2 sides though, you know, building up yourself that amount of times. Yes, I'm going to race, this is all down to this moment, and then it gets cancelled, or someone's over the start, so you have to rerun it. You know, that can take a bit of a effect on the mental game. You know, maybe after a certain amount of starts, you might not be as concentrated as you would like to be. However, doing lots of starts can give you a bit of experience what it's like out on the water. So, you know, hopefully after a couple starts, you can get that start absolutely perfect. But, you know, it's tricky for these riders. It is really tricky having the starts being rerun, but that's the game. That is the game, you know. Like, it's been tricky for these riders, as we have seen 2 from this quarterfinal jumping that gun, and now they are back on the beach. But also, we still have these 4 riders on our screens at the minute. Finn, Matt, Max, and also down that bottom end, Manolo. You know, they are still in the game. They are in the zone. But Andy Brown at that back, he is coming in with the speed. Will he be able to take a good start? He's pumping out the back. Yeah, let's have a little watching Andy Brown at that top end. He is coming in with the speed. Oh, Finn Hawkins just not being able to fly, but it is Matt Barton and also Andy Brown. Yes, he did come in with the speed down that bottom end though. Manolo Modena and also Max. Max has got the speed as well, but look at that. Andy Brown has rolled Matt Barton, so Matt Barton has got a little bit of dirty wind at the minute, but he will be doing his very best with positioning, with pumping, with skill to ensure that he keeps inside. Well, he fights to be inside that top 2.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really good tactics there from Andy Brown. As you said, just managed to roll Matt Barton there, just to overtake him really nicely. But now it looks like Matt Barton's going to do the exact same thing right back to Andy Brown as they make their way down towards that mark. So yeah, actually, yeah, Matt Barton, first one round there. So kept himself upwind of the rest of the pack after losing out a little bit. Does look like Finn Hawkins has now got back up onto the foil, making his way down towards the rest of the pack. Couple of early jibes there from Manolo Modena and Matt Barton, as the other two make their way out towards the outside of the course area. Interesting tactics going on here, a bit of a split of the pack.
Yeah, Andy Brown deciding to take the latest jibe. Is that risky? Yeah, it's kind of risky indeed. Matt deciding to take that kind of fighting maneuver, deciding to jibe off early. That creates a bit of stress for the riders that were in front of him, because if he managed to get out onto the right side of the course, and it's looking like he has indeed, he has made the correct decision and he has taken a really tasty lead out of both Andy and also Max here. Now in the lead, now in that qualifying spot towards that semi-final, deciding to put in another jibe here. And let's go to Raquela, who is on the water for a live update.
When the wind gets light, even the slalom race can be very tactical. We've seen some choices on the race course that are impacting the ranking. And like you said, you know, Matt and Manolo chose to stay a little bit on the inside, and now they're they're rounding the mark. Oh, just Manolo was just overtaken by Andy. Incredible. And back to the studio. Yeah.
Everyone is stoked here. Everyone's stoked, isn't it? Cool, blimey. But it is indeed Matt Barton in the lead at the minute. But as we saw exactly there, Andy Brown snatching that second place off of Manolo Modena. But it's all going to come down to this jibing mark. Matt is putting in some huge pumps just to defend his lead within this race.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really impressive there. Andy Brown just putting in just a perfect little overtake there. Manolo Modena, I mean, he's not one that's known to fight, not fight back. So I think Manolo, but actually putting a little bit of distance between himself there. We got a bit of a drag race on our hands here between the two British sailors. It started. It looks like it's going to end as it started. You know, them kind of rolling each other. Andy Brown in a pretty good fighting position here. But yeah. Looking at this angle here, there's quite a bit of distance between them. It looks like Matt Barton's fairly safe, although definitely the gap looks like it's being closed by Andy Brown here.
It's jolly close indeed, but these two British riders, Matt and Andy, they are in the qualifying position to that semi-final, and they have got it. I'm not even sure who took the lead in the end there.
I think it looked potentially like Andy Brown, but also, if I'm honest, Rafferty, it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't indeed. They have banked themselves a spot within that semi-final to join Luca Di Tomasi and also Joost Vink.
Really impressive performance there. Matt Barton especially getting rolled going towards that first mark, and there's some great sportsmanship there from Manolo Modena, giving him a bit of a shaka.
Yeah,
love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. On the race course, you know, it is everyone for themselves. Off the race course, it's really cool to see these guys. Everyone's friends, everyone's showing respect and love to each other as they cross that finish line. Great performance there from Manolo Modena, but yeah, just Andy Brown, really incredible tactical decision. Absolutely love to see it.
But Manolo is extremely happy. A really, really amazing competition from him here. If I'm not mistaken, he finishes this competition in that 6th place. A extremely good result for him. He came into this final day in that 6th place and he finished in 6th place. But I'll tell you who's happy as well. Matt Barton on our screens at the minute. What a race from him. Did he start it off well? I mean, I'll tell you who started it off well was Andy Brown, who came in from the back with the speed of Finn. Really, really sad for Finn.
Heartbreaking. Just after going across that start line, kind of came off the foil and then just never quite managed to catch up with the rest of the pack. It is one of those things. Being left behind. It looks like these guys managed to ride the gust all the way down the course. That's the beauty of this slalom format. But really, really impressive there. Andy Brown and Matt Barton kind of battling throughout the whole thing. This is where the pack separated off. So we saw Matt Barton go across fairly early, Andy Brown sticking to his guns, heading off a bit wider, and then it was as they came down here towards one of the last marks, it was that overtake of Manolo Modena.
Look at that. There is Matt, but also there is Andy. Yeah, we did see Matt and Andy
right here. This is where that change up happened, wasn't it? Where suddenly Andy Brown getting round this mark first. But I mean, Matt Barton, it looked pretty close, didn't it? It looked like Andy Brown definitely had a little bit more board speed, didn't it?
Yeah, a little bit more board speed, a little bit more push. Maybe Matt was just trying to stay safe. I mean, for sure he was trying to stay safe. Both teammates, Andy Brown and Matthew Barton, both from Great Britain. They'll just be trying to stay safe in that position, and stay safe they did, as they have now guaranteed themselves a spot in that semi-final and in that top final. So let's go to an interview with Andy Brown.
Andy, well done. I mean, that taking over Manolo at that mark, you came in full speed.
Yeah, I got him right there. It's a really tight race. Happy to have made it through.
Yes. How does it feel when something like that happens?
Well, that's just part of racing. There's always tight situations. It's just, executing, getting a bit lucky when it matters. Lucky, like Manolo got me many times this week, so I'm just glad I got him this time.
Yeah, you gave one back. And that finish, so tight, you don't even know who was first.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter. We were 1-2, so we're just kind of cruising to the line. Matt's a GBR teammate, really happy for him. We'll see who maybe gets through to the next round.
Yeah.
Which is very soon. So.
That's the idea. We'll let you go.
Perfect.
And enjoy the next one.
Cheers. All the best. Thank you.
Really, really great performance there from Andy Brown. You can see he's laser focused, isn't he? He's in the zone.
He is certainly in the zone, and he demonstrated exactly how to be in the zone. As we're not 100%, but he was. Yeah, we are indeed. He won that race. Look at that profile shot. He means business, don't he? He absolutely means business.
Yeah, really, really cool to see that there. So literally the last second there, there was a photo finish between him and Matt Barton. But as we said, I mean, it's cool. He can say he won the quarterfinal, but ultimately it doesn't necessarily matter, because it's the top two that will be advancing through, and they will be going through into the men's semi-final with Luca Di Tomasi and Joost Vink. Joost Vink having a really good day yesterday, and that's what's catapulted him straight up into the semi-final. He's been able to chill out and sit back today. He kind of did all his work yesterday, but now his work starts.
Certainly does. But a great competition from all the rest of those riders. Adrian finishing in 10th, Luke in 9th overall, and then the rest of those riders. But shout out to Manolo Modena. What a competition he's had so far. And finished it pretty wicked indeed as well in that 6th spot. What a result. A senior competition, European Championships, doesn't get much better than, World Championships. The level here is through the roof. The majority of the riders who are in the World Championships are here as well. We've got people from all around the world here. We got people all the way from Asia, from South America. It's not just you. Of course, it's the European Championships, but there's people all around the world competing at this event. Oh, it's sick though. We are going into that women's grand final. Here is where we will be determining our overall podiums: 3rd place, 2nd place, and the European champion. But in this women's grand final, it is Anastasia Valkovic. She qualified into this along with Daniela Peleg to join Maja Gisler. She came into this day in first place position. A extremely amazing competition she's had so far. You know, she's had a good time as well, so it really shows. You have a good time, if you have a good time, you know, it's successful. But now is the moment where all of these riders really need to perform, because here, whoever comes third gets that bronze medal, whoever comes second gets the silver medal, and yeah, you guessed it, whoever comes first becomes the European champion.
Absolutely, yeah. So it is all to play for these three athletes. They've already secured themselves a medal and a place on the podium. But yeah, obviously they're all going to be wanting that top spot. Anastasia Valkovic, definitely the athlete with the momentum behind her after her performances throughout today. You know, coming straight from the quarterfinal, really great performance during that semi-final, the last race. So yeah, I couldn't put money on it. It's all going to be down to this moment, especially in these tricky conditions. Whoever will be able to make the best mental decisions, the best strategy, the best kind of input within this equipment, who can work the hardest, is going to come out on top. But, you know, we are coming up to that last minute. Maja Gisler, fresh from the Under-23 World Championship. She is that Under-23 vice world champion. Could she be adding a senior European Championship title to her name? We are going to find out in around 30 seconds. Daniela Peleg, could she be adding a title to her name, or could it be Anastasia Valkovic? This is her first competition in a long time, so a amazing show that she's put on here. Could she be finishing it off with a win? Oh, we'll find out. She's up that top end, not quite foiling it. We're coming up to the last 5 second. Maja Gisler down that bottom end, coming in with the speed along with Daniela Peleg, slightly up that top end. But where is Anastasia Valkovic? Probably not having the start she was hoping for, but look at Daniela putting in some huge pumps, really trying to get an early lead within this race. It's extremely close between Maja and Daniela at the minute, but we have to think about Anastasia Valkovic. She is so fast on this equipment. She will be coming back, and we need to keep our eyes peeled for her. Absolutely, Maja Gisler with the lead currently. But yeah, Daniela Peleg looks like she's going to be bearing down on her as they make their way towards that first mark. As you said, Rafatia, Anastasia Valkovic not having the start she wanted, kind of coming down off the foil at the last couple of seconds, but looks like she's recovered really well. And as you touched on, that board speed is something that has really been a standout over the last couple of days. You know, I mean, judging by this angle here, it looks like she's managed to gain on the rest of them really quickly, giving a little wave there. So she will be making her way around. Looks like Daniela Peleg with a really early jibe there. Maja Gisler choosing to head a little bit wider. Anastasia Valkovic also following her. So interesting here. Still a split, even with just three of them. Be good to see, you know, which one sort of pays off. It looks like Daniela Peleg certainly managed to take a bit of a deeper line, but will she be sacrificing a bit of board speed for that?
This is where they do split off. This is on the downwind where the strategies can make the biggest difference indeed. We saw Daniela Peleg deciding to jibe off a little earlier. Maja Gisler putting in some huge pumps, but it is Anastasia Valkovic deciding to go the furthest off on to the left side, and panning straight over to the right side of this downwind now is Daniela Peleg. How is her jibe? Oh, it's light, but she manages to keep the speed on the equipment and foil out of that jibe.
You could just see how loose. Look at the end of the boom on the clew of the sail. Look how loose they've really let the outhole right off. Try and bag the sail out as much as possible. You know, maximise every little bit of power they can out of the light winds that we've got here. It looks like Daniela Peleg so far the furthest down the course. So yeah, really interesting decisions that we're seeing here, making her way down. But a bit of a battle there as Maja Gisler throws in her next jibe, making her way down towards that next mark. Anastasia Valkovic has come off the foil again. Really difficult. So yeah.
Oh, tricky
Not
one.
what you want to happen.
Tricky one. Just highlighting how tricky it is out here with this wind. But it is Daniela Peleg currently in that leading position. What will be going through her head? This is their final race of the whole competition. If Daniela Peleg here holds her position, she will be becoming the 2024 European champion. But, you know, still anything can happen. She's on her penultimate leg, the penultimate reach until that finish line. Where is Maya Gisler? A little bit far behind, but still she's got the speed. Have a look at that. Maya is pushing hard, 16 knots, 17 knots, slightly faster than Daniela Peleg. Could she be pushing? Well, she's pushing to the absolute max. This is the end. This is the final race. This is the podium race. Whoever wins this race will be walking away with that European Championship title, and Daniela Peleg is showing that she is hungry for that title as she puts in the jibe and continues to pump all the way on this final reach. Maya Gisler has definitely made up a little bit of ground, I think. Could she be overtaken? I mean, she's got a significant lead, Daniela Peleg here, but we're going to see.
God, look how light the wind is there. You can see just pushing down through that foil, trying to stay up on it, pumping as much as possible as she makes her way towards that finish line. Looking at the board speed, does look like, there's so much distance between them. It looks like this is going to be Daniela Peleg heading across that line.
Ooh,
really putting some distance between her.
Daniela Peleg is rail 2 taking the win in that grand final, and she is the... What a race from her. A really good... She comes away with that title.
Really, really impressive performance there from Daniela Peleg. As I said, Maya Gisler chasing her down, but just didn't quite manage to find the board speed to pick up. It did look like the wind dropped right off as they made their way towards it. Actually, Maya Gisler potentially looks like there. I don't know if she's come across the line yet, but has come right off the foil there. And then, of course, Anastasia Valkovic halfway down the course, dropping through, and that is her crossing the line there, Maya Gisler. So not necessarily the finish she would have wanted, but still an incredible performance from the young athlete.
A absolutely amazing week from Maya Gisler here. She didn't quite have the first day she was hoping for, but then the second day she did insane, winning every single one of her races, and then that the day yesterday as well, having a corker of a day, meaning that she's come second. She is the European vice champion now. An amazing result from her. She came third in, she's under 23 she came third in the European under 23 World Championships, and she has added the senior second place to her name. She'll be one to watch for the future.
Absolutely, really, really exciting there. You can see her heading over to the boat. They're holding the Norwegian flag. There's a bit of love going on there. The same can be said for Daniela Peleg in her boat as well. A lot of love coming through here from the other boats. Good vibes out there on the water. Congratulations to all the athletes. And let's take a look at the recap of that race. So this is the finals for the women's fleet here in Cagliari.
Indeed. There, down that bottom end. Maya down that bottom end, having a good start along with Daniela Peleg. Just Anastasia out that kind of in that third place to start it off with, but it was Maya. She came second in that under 23 World Championships, and she's added another second place to her name at the Senior European Championships.
Yeah, really, really impressive performance. It just goes to show, that kind of structure of it, isn't it? Like you were saying, Rafferty, starting off in those youths and making your way up, they're welcome to come and compete at the kind of men's, at that kind of youth and then moving up into the kind of adults, and it's a really great kind of sort of progression to be able to go up into it, and that's definitely what we're seeing with these two athletes. So yeah, really, really incredible performance there from Daniela Peleg. Did exactly what she said she was going to do in her previous interview, said just try and do more of the same, and let's go over to Raquela, who is on the water with our European champion Daniela Peleg.
Yes, I'm here with the European champion, the 2024 iQFOiL European champion. Congratulations, Daniela.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. It was really hard race. I pumped all the race. It was light. I'm so happy.
There was quite a fight with you and Maya, two very young sailors. So you were telling me you're going to be 20 in a short time?
Yeah, in 10 days actually. Yeah, Maya sailed amazing all the week. And it was a tight fight between us. It was hard. Like on a tactical jibe, I managed to pass her. It was hard tight, and I'm happy.
So not even 20 and already senior European champions. That's quite a goal achieved.
Yes, actually the level in the senior is really high, especially the under 23. It's really hard battle between all of us. Also, last month we had the World Championship under 23. We finished 4th, so it means the level is really high. And yeah, I'm so glad.
So this is the first step on the 4-year cycle that might take you to the Olympics. Are you thinking about that? Is that somewhere in the back of your head already?
Yeah, sure, this is the main goal, but there is a long way to go. And yeah, I'm already thinking, but between this and the Olympic, there is a lot to go through.
And now it's just time to enjoy your title. Congratulations again, and back to you guys in studio for the men now.
A huge congratulations to Daniela Peleg, also to Maya Gisler on the screen. Yeah, there's something really interesting that she said. It's quite a young fleet here, doing insane. The level is high, and she mentioned, yeah, they just had their under 23 World Championships. Yeah, Daniela did come 4th. Maya came 2nd in that, so Daniela managed to get the better of Maya at this competition. But you know, that's wicked. You know, Daniela is the European champion here for the seniors. Maya has got the under 23 second place World Championships, and she's also now got a senior European vice World Championship title to her name, which is just epic. And then it was Anastasia Valkovic picking up that bronze medal. A really exciting grand final for the women here at the European Championships.
Absolutely, yeah, really great result for all three of these athletes, you know, and different storylines for all of them, but yeah, awesome to see them filling out the podium for the women's fleet. But the action is not over yet.
No way.
We are going to be heading back to the men's championships, and then of course, actually before we do that, we've got Anastasia Valkovic in the boat with her coaches, her team. She doesn't look like she's too upset about it.
No, she's happy. She should be so extremely happy, and I know she's happy. You know, this has been her first competition for a long time actually, and to come straight back into it and absolutely destroy the competition. You know, 3rd, she has picked up that bronze medal. She is extremely happy. But yeah, let's go to an interview with Maya Gisler.
Is it live? Yes, it is live, Maya. I'm with Maya, the runner-up of the 2024 European Championship. How old are you, Maya?
I'm 18.
And you're silver medal at the senior European Championship. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you so much.
How does it feel?
No, it feels really good. I'm quite surprised, to be honest, but super happy.
What's next for you now?
I'm actually doing the Youth Worlds in Palma.
Yeah.
So that's in October as well, so I'm quite excited for that.
So not much rest between here and there. Enjoy your win, enjoy your medal, and we'll see you soon in Palma.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Back to you guys.
No rest at all for Maya Gisler, straight into the youths in Palma in a couple of weeks. So yeah, I mean, it's like what we were saying earlier. You know, it's getting the start of that 4-year cycle going again, and I imagine Maya Gisler will be really making a campaign. And I mean, what a way to start it with that. Yeah. But let's head back over to the men's fleet, and we are going to the semi-final. So we have got Luca Di Tomasi, Hughes Fink, Matthew Barton, and Andy Brown. So Matt Barton and Andy Brown coming in from the quarter-final. So taking the top 2 places there, going up into this, and it will be the top 2 from this race that will be going up into the final and up against a very informed Pavel Tarnowski. Coming into this event, Pavel kind of a bit of a relaxing one for him, a bit of a cool-down event, but actually just has been dominant all week. Had a great day yesterday and now finds himself in that first position. So he's going to be sitting and watching this race very, very closely. But yeah, as you can see, just over 3 minutes and 45 seconds left to go until the start of this men's semi-final. A couple of the guys have had to sit and go through 4 or 5 restarts of that quarterfinal, Rafferty, and then in terms of the other two, Luca Di Tomasi and Youth&Junior, they haven't had to take to the water yet. How do you think the comparison in terms of how they're feeling is going as they make their way towards this race?
It's tricky, you know. There's obviously that side of people who of the riders that have raced and haven't raced. You know, there's two sides to it. But what they all are as prepared as they possibly can. They've put in all the work, they've put in all the preparations, and they have put in all the effort to ensure that they are at the top of their game for this race coming up for the semi-finalists here. Got Luca Di Tomasi on our screens at the minute, rocking that blue bib as he did come into today in that second place position. Could he hold that position? Could he even do better? We will find out very, very soon. But it is Matt Barton on our screens there. He's just setting up. Also Andy Brown just to the left. They're looking at the wind, scanning the horizon. When do I want to get foiling? When do I put on the power? little cheeky wave. Yeah. He's loving it. He's loving it, as everyone else is loving it out on the water.
Absolutely, it does look like that wind has dropped right off, but we have 2 races left. So the men's semi-final and then the men's final. The women's now completed. So yeah, not long left. So we just need that wind to hold on for just a little bit longer. But actually, as Raquel has said, and as the locals have said as well, you know, often it is a thermal wind. So actually in the afternoon, sometimes it does tend to pick up. But they kind of took a look at the forecast today, and with the directions, they kind of said, actually, we want to go a little bit earlier and try and catch that kind of midday wind, which is what we're doing now. It is 12:50 local time here, 12:55. So yeah, you know, right around that kind of lunchtime wind. So yeah, 1 minute and 40 seconds left to go until the start of this race. You know, and as you said, Rafferty, they're going to be starting to get up onto the foils soon, getting themselves moving around. If anything, it looks like that start line, because the start line is a little bit closer to the shore, it does seem like there is a little bit less wind there. Generally, as they make their way down the course, sometimes it does pick up a bit. But I mean, at the same time, Anastasia Valkovic kind of came off the foil down, you know, sort of halfway down. So I think it's, with it being offshore, it just sort of comes through in these gusts. And a huge part of it is those tactics for these riders and making sure that they're kind of keeping themselves in those pockets and using those gusts as wisely as possible as they make their way down. Minute left to go now.
Minute left to go indeed. We're seeing these riders now foiling, building up their speed, building up their power, trying to ensure that they set themselves up best for that start. They'll be wanting to hit that start line at that 0-0 mark. Not only at that 0-0 mark, but also at full speed. Hopefully not over the start, because that then does mean that they will be disqualified. So hopefully we don't see any of that. Oh, Luca Di Tomasi just dropping off the foil there, allowing Joost to come through with the speed. 20 seconds to go, about that, until this men's semi-final goes ahead.
Absolutely, yeah. I was just about to say, well, I can only see 3 of them, and yeah, I think Luca Di Tomasi just struggling to get up onto the foil. Looks like he was just sort of managing to on the left-hand side of the screen there, but these 3 guys fully up and going, and they are going to be hitting the line at full speed. Hopefully they're going to time it well. Nobody going over early, and there it is. It looks like Andy Brown. No, not Andy Brown. Youth&Junior at the start. Over first.
Oh,
good start.
It's still speedy though. It's looking as if that was a good start indeed. I'll tell you who had the best start. Matt Barton.
Yeah,
what
absolutely.
A corker he had indeed. Andy Brown also. But look at that. A very good illustration of what happens when you get rolled and be put in dirty wind, especially in this weather. And look at this, Andy Brown and Joost just dropping out. Joost, Andy managed to overtake him, roll him, give him that dirty wind, but now Joost has made him way a little bit upwind just to ensure that he has the cleanest wind possible. But it is Matt and Andy currently in those qualifying positions, but remember, anything can change. Here is that first mark. Now they have the decision to split off from the pack. Here is where the most strategy and tactics is put into play. Which route do they want to take down the course? Both Luca Di Tomasi and Joost deciding to drive off a little bit earlier, closely followed by Andy and Matt though. A great defensive manoeuvre from Matt.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really interesting. All of them sort of deciding to go off a bit early. Matt Barton obviously a lot further down, so you know it may cost him. You can see him kind of looking over his shoulder up at what the other guys are doing. Andy Brown actually getting a little bit of speed up ahead of Joost Vink. Luca Di Tomasi still sort of struggling to regain some ground and catching up with the rest of the pack, but Matt Barton definitely looking in a bit of a controlling situation here as we see Andy Brown going for that second jibe there. Matt Barton echoing him there.
Look at that jibe though. God, it is so light, but these guys are demonstrating exactly how to work this equipment in these tricky conditions. Remember, this is the semi-final. All week has led up to this moment for these riders within this semi-final. They need to be inside of that top 2 to qualify into that grand final, where they do have a shot at getting that European Championship title. And currently in those qualifying 2 spots, you know, anything can happen, but it is Matt Barton rounding his penultimate mark in that first place position. Call blimey.
Absolutely. Matt Barton just going from strength to strength. Really good performance there. I mean, looking at it there, does look like Joost Vink and Luca Di Tomasi have both come off the foils. If you look at the look at the board speed there on the left-hand side, you can see they're down to sort of 2 or 3 knots. So I think this is going to be another photo finish for Matt Barton and Andy Brown. But let's wait and see. We can't speak yet as they make their way towards that final jibe mark coming round before making their way towards the boat.
How's his jibe? And it is looking good indeed. How's Andy's jibe? Hopefully he will be on a safe jibe, and a safe jibe he does do. They are currently in those qualifying positions into that grand final. Matt just looking upwind to see if he can see the remaining 2 riders. Matt having a look behind him, and then some really big pumps just to secure his lead within that race. Not much separating him, and that is that finish line. Both Matt and Andy, both Brits, securing themselves a spot on that podium. Oh, well in. That is so sick to see. Matt is going to be on cloud 9 along with Andy Brown. That is so cool.
Yeah, that's real stoke there. You could see the teammates as he went over. Matt Barton turning around, giving Andy a little point there. You know, really, really stoked to see these two both just storming through both the quarterfinal and now the semi-final, going up into the grand final up against Pavel Tarnowski. They're going to be really, really stoked there. Little bit of love going on there for the coaches as well.
Barry, what a lad as well. He's been having a good week with the Brits so far, and it's gone from strength to strength as Matt could become the European champion in the next race. One more race here for the European Championships. Only one more race, and here we will decide who is on that podium, and who takes the medals. Yeah, who takes the medals. But it was a very good start from Matt here. But you see it straight away. Matt rolled Joost and unfortunately gave him that dirty wind, which allowed Andy Brown to come in that second place. And he kept that second place all the way to the finish.
Absolutely, yeah, some interesting jibes going on here. I mean, sadly for Joost, yeah, basically got rolled by both of them. And then Luca Di Tomasi just struggling to regain any ground after kind of coming off the foil towards the start. And then I think both him and Joost coming off the foils during that. So yeah, it became a bit of a 2-man race for these guys. Matt Barton getting a bit of revenge on Andy for the last one. But like I said, you know, in the last one, it doesn't matter whether you come first or second, you still through into that final. And a lot of good vibes here from Matt Barton there. Thumbs up there. And let's go over to an interview on the water with Raquela.
We're here with Matt. Congratulations, Britannia rules the waves.
Thank you very
First
much.
and second.
Thank you. Yeah, super happy. Great race and really happy for Andy as well. Yeah, Brits on top, which is really nice.
Yeah, how was this race? I think some wind picked up a little bit.
Yeah, it's just super up and down. It pulses in and you just got to hope you're on the foil and make the best of what you get. So really pleased with how I've raced and really excited to see Powell in the final.
Yeah, and let's hope this wind is staying for the final, which is starting in like
soon,
no time.
Yeah, so I better get going. But yeah, let's hope so. We'll put on a good show no matter what. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Enjoy the next race.
So sick to see. Matt is stoked and he is on that podium. Where will he be on that podium? Which medal would he pick up? We will find out very, very soon. But here we are, Andy Brown on the boat, making his way back up to that start line. And there we have the men's semi-final overall rankings. Luca Di Tomasi in that 4th place, Joost Vink in 3rd. But qualifying into that grand final, we have both Brits, Andy Brown and Matthew Barton.
Yeah, really, really impressive performance from both of them as well. Unlucky for Joost Vink and Luca Di Tomasi just coming down off the foils. Interesting to get some insight there from Matt about the conditions out there, you know, saying that the wind's kind of coming through in those pulses, and as long as you catch one of those, but as soon as you kind of fall behind on that, it's kind of game over. So yeah, really, really tough and difficult conditions out there. But hey, these guys are the best in the world, you know, and they've got to be able to you know, put those decisions into place and you know, carry themselves down with those gusts. Good vibes as they make their way up the course.
Yeah,
they're not expected to sail up, which is always good.
Yeah, right.
They get to have a bit of a rest as they make their way up to hit the reset button again.
Little Shaq from Barry there, he's loving it as well, having a great competition with Matt here, and also Finn. Yeah, they're all having a sick one. Oh, God, they're cruising upwind, isn't it? God blimey, they're getting ready for that grand final, though. Both riders here, both Andy and Matt, making their way back up.
So this is going to be a really exciting final, because on the one side, again, we've got a lot of momentum for these two boys. They've both gone from the quarters to the semis and now into the final, and there's that whole kind of teammates vibe as well, you know, both coming from the GBR team. And then on the other side, you also have Pavel Tarnowski hasn't taken to the water yet, you know, so he's going to be coming into this very fresh. Again, though, very similar vibes. You know, we interviewed both Pavel and Matt Barton a couple of days ago, and they both kind of have a similar mindset towards this event, you know, of it's kind of about having fun. You know, they just kind of want to enjoy the experience of being out there on the water, out there doing it. So yeah, it's going to be really intriguing to see how they approach this race. I believe we are going to be having a little break just to let them kind of relax and reset before having to go back straight onto the race course as well.
Yeah, they have worked extremely hard in that race, in this series so far. So indeed, they're gonna have a little quick break just so they don't. So nothing bad happens, but yeah, quick. Well, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Do not go anywhere at all. But this is super short, only maybe a minute or two. So that'll go in no time. So we will be getting underway with the final race of the whole competition, and this will be the men's grand final. Here we will be determining who picks up each medal and ultimately who will be crowned the 2024 European champion. Will it be Pavel Tarnowski? Will it be Andy Brown? Or will it be Matt Barton? We will be finding out very, very soon.
Interesting, you know, stuff talking about, you know, Matt Barton and Andy Brown. You know, these guys coming into it. Where are they sitting, Rafferty, on the kind of in terms of, you know, that kind of. A lot of the athletes are here in that cool down phase after a big Olympic campaign. Some of the other ones are very much at the start of their own Olympic campaign as we look towards LA in 2028. Where do Matt Barton and Andy Brown sit in that?
Yeah, so we were talking to Matt a couple of days ago, and Matt's been training a lot with Emma Wilson, who the British girl at the Olympics. But now he's concentrating on himself again, setting himself up for that for the next cycle, that 2028 games. I mean, it's a long way away. It's 4 years away. So you know, it's. But this is the start, you know, this is the start. And not only is it the start, this is also just a pinnacle competition for these riders. They put in a lot of work towards this, and Matt certainly has as well. But then also Andy Brown, yes, he's been... this is a really important competition for him to qualify for certain teams, for certain funding, this and that, along with a lot of other riders within this. And yeah, Andy, he just won the recent iQFOiL games in Silverplana. So he has been putting in a really good stint of results recently. And will he become the European champion? Yeah, we're going to find out. But I'm sure the other two riders, well, all three riders, both Pavel, Andy, and also Matt. They are going to work to the absolute max. They know that this is their last race of the competition. So they're going to go like, what's the word, kind of, they're not going to hold anything back, are they, Sandy?
Absolutely not. No. This is, whilst there is a podium, realistically, all of them are, in order to be in this game, you have to be very, very competitive. So yeah, they are going to be all taking this very, very seriously. There's going to be no quarter given, to any of the others, despite the fact that Matt Barton and Andy Brown are teammates. We've said it so many times before. Ultimately, as soon as you get onto the course, it's everyone for themselves. And there's definitely been seen that, as soon as off the course, there's a lot of great sportsmanship and everyone's very good friends, and off the water, it's always really good vibes at these events, but, there's a huge amount of competition, among them. So yeah, it's going to be a really, really exciting one to see. I mean, the thing that always fascinates me with the medal series or any, when it comes to this is the idea that, Pavel Tarnowski hasn't taken to the water yet. He's definitely been sat there in the boat and he's probably watching and checking out what's going on, but he hasn't been able to get out onto the course himself yet. So this will all be quite new to him, whereas Andy Brown and Matt Barton, they've had a bit of time to kind of take a look on the course, get a sense of which side is potentially working best, where they want to be putting their jibes in, things like that. So they've got a little bit of that knowledge. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see the tactics that they employ, whether they stick to their guns with what they're doing, whereas Pavel Tarnowski going into this completely fresh, which is always a benefit, but also hasn't necessarily had the chance to get out on the water yet. So it's really, really interesting to see. Pavel's put in such a dominant performance, especially the first couple of days, which was the sprint slalom, so very similar format to this. So yeah, I'm. Once again, Rafty, it's a common theme today. I couldn't put money on who I think is going to be getting over that line. There's too many variables in place.
Yeah, cool little view on the screen at the minute. We got the iQFOiLs, but then we also have the windsurfer class in the background. Both kind of old school windsurfing and also the most up to date windsurfing. The work of what's the word? State of the art. That's what I was trying to get at. State of the art with the iQFOiL class, and back to the roots with the windsurfer class. I mean, still both having as much fun on the water as possible. One's foiling, one's still standard kind of windsurfing, but still having a sick time, enjoying nature, enjoying the water, and enjoying life.
Absolutely, yeah. And while we wait for this race to start, let's take a little look at some of the highlights of the women's racing so far today. Great highlights there from some amazing racing throughout today. Obviously quite fickle, difficult conditions, but there are your results for the Women's European Podium 2024 for the European Championships. Daniela Peleg, a great performance throughout today, taking the win. Maya Giesler in second, Anastasia Valkovic putting together just an awesome performance, coming straight through from the quarterfinals all the way up onto the podium with a really, really great demonstration of all those skills. So yeah, really, really good, and coming away with the bronze in third place.
That's sick, isn't it? That is wicked.
Really cool.
And there we go into that top 12 for the women's current standings and overall standings for the European Championships. The 12th position, Palmachago, great competition from Croatia. Manon Pianaca in 11th. A good competition from Isla as well. She was leading after one of the days as well, but finishing up with a 10th place position. Probably not the not the medal, not the quarterfinal she was hoping for, but that shows how tricky the conditions are and how prepared everyone needs to be and how things can go within this medal race series. But showing us exactly how to do a medal race series is Daniela Peleg, showing us all how it's done, and she picked up that European Championship title.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really impressive performance. Just waiting to see, I think that is the AP flag that gone up, which means that they are delaying a little bit for this men's final. I think they're having a look and realising that the conditions are not quite what we want in order to be able to run the men's final. Obviously they want it to be, they want to make sure that it's fully contestable conditions. So yeah, AP flag is just up for the moment.
Oh, what a dreamy day this is, though. I mean, I'm looking out, and the water is such a dreamy colour. It's blue, but it's not like a super light blue. It's like an aqua blue. Well, aqua, yeah, of course it's aqua because it's water. But you know what I mean. It is just a lovely blue. There's the sky, and it's not completely blue sky. There's some clouds, but the clouds look like lovely and fluffy and bouncy. It's like we're dreaming, and then you look on the beach, everyone's having a lovely beach day, lounging out, having a good one, enjoying the sun, taking in the rays of sunshine. And then we've got the rest of the riders on the beach, packing up, getting ready to go home, maybe sticking around, enjoying the beautiful location of Cagliari in the south of Sardinia. But do you know what time it is? It is grand final time for the men. We are seeing that AP flag up on the boat, that triangular red and white flag, just signifying that we are under a little bit of postponement. Not 100% sure why, maybe due to conditions being quite changeable and quite tricky out here, just ensuring that we get this grand final done in suitable conditions.
Yeah, it looks like they're about to potentially take the AP flag down. They're about to blow the horn, so hopefully that means AP will be coming down and we will be able to get on with this. Yeah, looks like that's exactly the case. So yeah, AP flag has come down, so we will be getting underway as soon as possible. So yeah,
There we go. It is game on. Not too long until this grand final is going to be raced. Only 3 riders within this grand final, as this is where those medals will be determined, who gets which. The bronze medal, the silver medal, and that gold medal. But it is going to be quite tricky. These riders really need to be at the right place at the right time. Take the correct wind, take the gusts, take the stronger winds to go a bit faster, take the correct shifts to sail a shorter course, foil a shorter course, let's say. It's a bit cooler. But yeah, not long to go. Around 3 minutes. It's going to be sick. It's going to be wicked.
Absolutely, yeah, just over 3 minutes to go until the start of this race. So coming up, yeah, it is the men's final. We've got Matt Barton, Andy Brown and Pavel Tarnowski. 3 heavy hitters. Andy Brown and Matt Barton coming off some great momentum throughout today. And then, of course, Pavel Tarnowski just been, what you're kind of doing with your gear and making sure that's all optimized. It's also about looking at what the conditions are doing. This is very different, obviously. The other races that we do, there's usually a lot more competitors on the field. This one, it is a bit different. You are going to be out there a bit more on your own. There's only 3 guys in this race, so yeah, it's going to be really, really interesting to see how they all get on.
Coming up to the last minute and a half about that now. It's looking gusty. This is a great shot to see the conditions out here, really highlighting that it's a gusty, shifty type of day.
Yeah.
These riders really need to be on the height of their mental game, ensuring that they can take the right decisions that they possibly can. But here we are, Matt Barton and Andy Brown on the screen at the minute, just cruising out onto the other side of the course. When will they be putting in their jibe? Might be about 1 minute. Maybe they've timed it perfectly to be at that minute mark. Whoa, God blimey. But hopefully they stay up on the foil and they can go towards that start line and hopefully hit that start perfectly. But again, hopefully. There's a lot of hopefullys going on here, and hopefully they are not over that start, because if they are...
Matt will get rolled, and it looks like it is a good start.
Ooh, God blimey. Maybe Andy Brown not quite having the start he was hoping
a
for,
little
but
bit
Pavel
behind.
Tarnowski, look at him. He is really trying to dominate, giving Matt Barton that dirty wind, and Pavel has gone out. He's extending his lead by a few board lengths now, not much separating them at all though. Could Pavel hold his lead all the way to the finish? It's going to be a tricky one, but he is going to be trying his best, and we are going to find out.
Absolutely, yeah. Pavel Tarnowski straight away with that good lead. You could see just keeping himself upwind of Matt Barton there. You know, didn't want to get rolled at all, but it's looking like getting quite close. Andy Brown, a really good job of managing to bring himself, back to the other two riders.
Oh, look at that indeed. Pavel Tarnowski in that lead, wearing that yellow bib as he did come into today in that leading position. But look at Matt really trying to attack on Pavel here. Andy Brown deciding to jibe off earlier. What a move that was from him, because in that third place position, you got nothing to lose. The worst that these guys can do is pick up that bronze medal. So they are pushing to the max. Will that be a good decision that Andy has made? I guess we're going to find out very, very soon as they all converge towards that bottom mark.
Absolutely, yeah. Andy Brown chucking in another jibe there. So it's now gone for second jibe. The other two kind of mirroring each other a little bit. It's looking like Matt Barton kind of following Pavel Tarnowski down as they're all making their way towards that mark. Definitely paid off for Andy Brown, as it looks like he's actually going to pass both of them.
He is working to the absolute max. Look at the speed that Andy has gained, and he has snatched that second spot. Look how close all of this is. They are going to be pushing all the way to the finish. Not much separating them at all. Pavel Tarnowski leading by maybe 3 or 4 board lengths, something like that. Speed though, they're cranking around that 10 knots, 22, 23 knots of board speed. It is all down to this mark rounding. Who is going to have the best one? Look how close all of this is, but Pavel Tarnowski still in that lead. But look at Andy Brown really trying to attack as fast as possible. He is going to completely exhausted, but he deserves completely exhausted, but he deserves every little bit of that. What a competition he has had.
God, love to see that. The love between the coach there, all that hard work paying off, and just incredible results there from Pavel. Such a consistent performance throughout the entire week, and just this guy just emanates good entire week, and just this guy just emanates good vibes.
Oh, he's a legend.
Yeah. He's just
legend.
so stoked to be here, so wholesome. Said he's been here with his family. He's just loved coming here, enjoying it.
2024, and what a one it was. It was very even actually at the start there. Maybe Pavel and Matt having a little bit of a better start, just pushing Andy to the back there, but Andy did not hold off. He went to the very end along with Pavel and Matt.
Yeah, really impressive performance. So you can see here, Andy Brown, this was where the difference was made. Andy Brown taking a little bit of a different tack there, choosing to jibe a bit early, heading off towards the other side, and then here, just managing, he'd already thrown in a couple of extra jibes, and managing to just get himself past Matt Barton at the rounding mark, get himself into second position, and then pumping so hard, managing to keep himself up with Pavel Tarnowski, but Pavel Tarnowski just managing to put a bit of distance between himself and the rest and the other two, and just maintain that lead throughout the entire race.
Look at that. The pressure must have just been through the roof from these riders. They knew that this was the final race, and wow, what an absolute pinnacle, and what a way to end the 2024 European Championships. Pavel there we go. Yeah, he's loving it, absolutely loving it. Okay, and now we're going to an interview on the water.
Didn't have time, but wait here, I need to give you a hug.
Yes, we are trying to get Pavel, but everybody's actually coming here to congratulate with him. Now it's the time of Matt Barton.
But it's still good.
Oh, actually, it's not good. So I'm standing here with the 2024 iQFOiL European champion, Pavel. Do you realize that?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. Yes, I'm feeling very, very, very satisfied. Thank you very much. And, thank you to all my supporters, especially to my family, my lovely wife, my beautiful kid. They are here with me, waiting for me on the shore. Great round of applause for my coach, for the whole team, to the whole Polish sailing spirit, which made it possible for me to be on that level. For sure, to all my sponsors, without them this wouldn't be possible. So they always, believe in me, and I'm just super happy. It was.
Yes, let's go back a little bit on this final race. So you jumped in with no previous race today, so sometimes that is a disadvantage.
Yes, that's for sure, but to be honest, I was feeling sorry for the guys. They had so many general recalls, they had so many abandoned races. Weather conditions here in Sardinia this week were very tricky, very tactical, very physical at the same time. Rather lighter winds.
Small technical issue there with the sound, but I mean, so cool to hear from Pavel Tarnowski. Like I said, the guy is a vibe architect. He is just so stoked to be here. He's here with the family, and he's just absolutely loving it. And it's so cool to see that mindset of being so positive just pay off. And he's coming away from this event in Sardinia as the 2024 European champion for the iQFOiL. Yeah, he's going to be really, really stoked here. And then we've got Daniela Peleg sail there. They're all coming back in. I mean, what a week it's been, Rafferty.
It has just been epic. 2024 European Championships has been through the roof. So cool. This beautiful location at the south of Sardinia here in Cagliari. And there we go to the final results. That final podium for the men here at is Pavel Tarnowski taking that championship. The competition he's had was such a deserving winner there.
Absolutely, yeah, really, really cool. Andy Brown coming in second, Matt Barton coming in third. So yeah, the GBR team, as Raquel said, Britannia rules the waves. These guys putting in such a great performance over the medal series today. But of course, Pavel Tarnowski coming away with the win. So let's take a little look at the final standings for the men's after this event. So Pavel Tarnowski first place, Andy Brown and Matt Barton finishing up the top three. Justvink with a fourth place after such a great performance yesterday. Luca Di Tomasi had a great time in the first couple of days. Yesterday struggled a little bit, but still, I mean, a fifth place is not something you can complain about, is it?
Certainly not. Followed by Manolo Modena, the Italian teammate, in that sixth place. Finn Hawkins, another great competition from him. Max in eighth, great competition. Luke in ninth. If you wanna give that a go, come on, get involved. You're getting involved in the IQ class. This is just, it's epic. It's epic.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. So, what an event it's been, Rafferty. As we said, yeah, it's been an absolutely amazing event. We hope you guys have enjoyed watching. Don't forget, you can still stay tuned to all the behind-the-scenes action and, of course, all the kind of highlights that will be going out on social media on @iQFOiL Class over on Instagram. That's it for us. What an event it's been.
It's just been so awesome, and it's been awesome to see it throughout the week. Thank you all so much for joining us, and we will see you all very, very soon.